All right, folks, we are live once again for day 2 of the tag team throwdown. Today is Gold Stake. This is, again, the disembodied voice of Roffle. I'll be joining Murphy in just 1 second here. Today we have a slightly different setup. We've still got 11 players. These are the paired teammates of the previous day's attempts. They will be playing on Gold Stake, and instead of the 1 hour, they will be playing for 45 minutes. And in those 45 minutes, they're playing on Gold Stake, looking to hit the highest ante possible. No longer about score, but this today will be ante. So be prepared for that. We're going to join Murphy here in just a second, and then I should appear on the screen. So here we go.
It is genuine, even though it is copy and paste. Just want to make sure that everybody knows that we see them and we're thinking about them and we're appreciative of them.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, Roffle?
You know, not a whole lot. I'm excited for day 2. I see we have chat's favorite Joker on the screen right now in the Baron. That should that should be exciting. Possibly bringing in a lot of funds for a good cause again today.
They're already pog Baron and pogging out of their minds right now.
You love to hear it. You love to hear it. Do we already have our chats touched, or?
Oh yeah. I'm sending a copy paste good luck to everybody real quick in their chats.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll.
Yeah, I suppose that's probably more important than.
Even though it is copy and paste, every Control C, Control V comes from the heart.
Now, are we also getting a second cosplay from Unseen Explosion here? Is that maybe a hanging Chad?
You missed it. They're the Joker stencil. It was fantastic. They had the whole board in the background that just set like this.
Yeah.
And it just said stencil and then Joker on the side. It was so
Oh
good.
Man. I'll have to go back and check that out. Now that I have
all right.
apparated from the void that I was briefly in.
Stream together. There we go. Good old that apparently I was still in from yesterday.
Okay, wait. It looks like we're getting a redo of the Unseen Explosions. He's even got the pose down.
That's the trickiest part, getting that silhouette down.
I think the trickiest part is having the courage to go into the bodysuit. But
that's very true. Very true.
But a close second is getting that pose down. Yeah, thank you. This is a family friendly event. No, drop that back down, Unseen. We need to some things maybe should remain unseen.
And this is the type of dedication and effort that you love seeing for events like this. To go full bodysuit is something no other competitor has done today. Like, Murphy hasn't even gone so far as to go full bodysuit yet, and I think a challenge has just been thrown down.
I was gonna say
that's all I'm seeing.
You say no one, but I could very well see Murphy doing something like that. He's he's wild like that. He's got costumes coming out of stencils that I didn't know existed.
There's a whole void over here full of Jokers that I can look down inside and just pick one out at any time, which is a little scary walking into this office to see that. But
quick question: that means you can look inside and find a Joker. Oh my God, the cat shirt! We gotta zoom in on that bad boy. And the coat.
Oh, and of course he's got the light bulb jacket. You love to see it.
Is that like a rendition of Kramer's Technicolor Dream Suit? I've only seen that once before, I think.
Oh, fantastic. Cat Space Taco.
Oh my God. So it kind of looks like Pico, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. What if that's a custom shirt?
I mean, maybe he'll win the day and we'll get to ask him. Who knows?
All right, I sent you an invite for stream together. Also, I'll thank y'all for 6,000 followers. Holy moly.
All right, so we do just have a few. Oh, dog.
Dog.
Oh yeah, that's Unseen's dog. He was chilling on stream the other day when Unseen was putting in, more time practicing for this event. As we've seen. Dogs. I do too. Look at that tail going crazy too.
Oh my god.
I think dog loves Unseen.
Big jumps. If it's okay with y'all, we can just pivot away from the competition today and just watch dog.
Yeah, we don't really like. What is Balatro? We have dog. We
need a dog joker in Balatro.
I mean,
look at that.
Nito's provided some fantastic dogs playing poker art.
We need to make it canon.
Yeah, we've got Lucky Cat. What about dog?
That's right.
I know 2 good boys that would be willing to pose for that artwork if Local Thunk needs some inspiration for that.
I think that would be an absolutely fantastic idea. All right, Doc. Welcome in, Doc.
Oh,
hello. It's me.
Hello.
It is Professor Doc.
Indeed.
Welcome back.
Sorry.
This is my Halloween costume.
Oh, fantastic! I mean, you already had a good one yesterday with the maid costume, but I guess that was your daily wear. So
I've got a good tailor, yeah.
Yeah.
Have either you two got the chat invite thing? I don't know if it's working.
I haven't been paying attention. I will check.
I have one from yesterday.
Yeah, I only have the one from yesterday.
Yeah, let me restart it. Thanks, Twitch.
It's just
classic.
Twitch never releases anything but perfectly functional features that everybody wants and asks for.
Mm-hmm.
It's what they're most well known for, in fact.
They have the products that streamers crave.
I think they have the product that streamers crave.
The host or another mod just perform that action.
Oh.
Huh. What does that mean?
Are you performing actions?
Ooh. I mean, I didn't approve any actions to be
maybe
enforced on me.
Look in your chats or refresh the.
Let me see. Maybe it's just
I'll
lingering from yesterday.
I will send you the collab invite link in our super secret chat that nobody else can see.
Okay.
And see if that works.
Well, that seems to work.
There we go.
That's a much better way of doing it than relying on chat's in-application feature. Why would we ever do anything else?
Join session. Wow, that was easy.
Yeah.
Why don't chat? Something went wrong. Please try again.
Oh no. Well, that happened yesterday, but then it resolved, right?
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe if I just click not now. There we go.
Wow. The secret is to decline what they're pushing on you, and then that makes it work. Wait, is that a chicken hat from C-Dubs?
It is. And chat, if you don't know, there is another incentive today. I will go over the milestones and stuff real quickly. But there is a C-Dubs chicken hat reward that they will put on the chicken hat in the middle of their run. Kind of giving them a little bit of an extra challenge to try to get the hat on while they're in the middle of a speed run. But for $111, C-Dubs will put on the hat. We also still have some judgments left. SJ, thank you for the 5 gifted. A multiplayer tourney where you pick the rules for Sizak. We are sold out of the autographed Balatro Banger CDs. If you got one of those, please reach out to Murphy or Dom to coordinate the shipping of that, because that is going to involve a lot of different things. But today's milestones at $15,000. We'll get as many people as we possibly can to do a tag team Jackbox stream together. At $16,000, that's 4 go-karts funded. We did 3 yesterday, by the way, which is absolutely insane. $17,000. I will make Murphy download and install and play Fortnite until he wins a chicken dinner. The stream will not end until the chicken dinner has been achieved. He does not like Fortnite. He does not like playing it. So this will be a fun watch.
Fortnite is like the greatest game ever made. I say that without any amount of irony. I'm terrible at it, but it's hilarious.
Maybe we do duos then.
I would not help you win. That would make it take longer.
At $17.50, Doc and Zano have offered to do a Tipsy Pokemon multiplayer. Doc, do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Okay, so it's Pokemon multiplayer. We'll be drinking along the way. So if you lose lives, you have some kind of drink. If you lose a game, you have a different kind of drink.
So if you want to check that out, that's at $17,500. At $18,111.11. This was actually another stretch goal for later, which C-Dubs has graciously offered to move down a little bit. They will do a Stardew Valley cookbook cooking stream, which will be a fantastic thing to watch. Chef C-Dubs is going to be so good. At $19,500. So at the end of today, Dom is going to be doing a live concert playing some of your favorite Balatro bangers. They did that. They did the concert last year, which was an absolute blast. So at $19,500, Dom will introduce a brand new, never before heard, live played song. It was the first time anywhere anyone has heard it. They did mention that it's not finished yet. So you are going to be on the ground floor of a brand new Balatro related song if we hit 19,500. And at 20,000, that will be 5 carts funded. Yesterday was already amazing. I am completely floored and blown away. Even if we don't get another penny out of today, we've done so much for the children in hospital care right now. Being able to provide 3 go-karts, things for the save point vending machines, spreading the word of this fantastic cause, and bringing the Balatro community together to do something amazing, which I said before earlier today, and I said yesterday, every time we have one of these events, the Balatro community shows up, shows out, knocks it out of the park, and I'm completely floored and just grateful to be a part of this community. So claps in chat for everybody that's shown up, shared, contributed, been in any of the chats, anything. Thank you all so much.
And thank you for bringing me on board this week, and maybe even a couple of days the week before has been incredible for me. Great time watching everyone do the practices and give them trial seeds throughout the week.
Yeah, it's been fun watching people practice and stuff and hanging out in the chats, because not all of these competitors I'm 100% familiar with. So being introduced to their communities or being introduced to their content, not only has this been good for the charity that we're working on, but it's also fantastic for broadening the horizons for content for other creators in the Balatro community that people might not know. There were some people yesterday that sort of popped off on their runs, and they might not be as well known as some of the other competitors that are in here, or even the casters or people in the community. So it's a good way to expand the overall Balatro community, because we are better together and we're stronger together. And it's just been fantastic to get to know all these people along the way.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. We've talked a lot about how the broader Balatro community steps up every time we do an event like that, but that includes the creators as well, right? Like, a lot of people weren't just like willing to join in on this, but were excited to. And we see that in the way that they're dressing up for the event, or practicing a week or two ahead, and just everybody's been not only generous with their time, because it's a full day of streaming. People are taking days off of work to participate in this, but then on top of that, they're really easy to work with. They're great people. They're they're willing to make some compromises to abide by the rules and do everything that is necessary in order to make an event like this run smoothly. Because without 22 people willing to sign on and give up some of their time for this, this event wouldn't happen, right? Or it wouldn't happen in the way that it is able to now.
Absolutely. Big claps to all the creators that have joined us. Especially, I've seen in the Discord, the coordinating Discord, Murphy just writes paragraphs. He writes novels every time that there is anything. 'Cause I don't know. He likes to over-explain stuff. So special thanks for reading through all that, or TLDR. Sorry that happened to you, or congrats, Cyberpunk 2077 meme. So thank you to everybody that has tried to parse all that. It's greatly appreciated. But it looks like everybody for the most part is ready. So Doc, do you want to take the reins here and discuss what we're doing today?
Yeah, let me tell the players we're going to be doing Ghost Deck first. So similar format to yesterday where we've got 3 rounds. The rounds are going to be a little bit shorter today. It's only going to be 45-minute rounds. Instead of going for a high score, we're going to go for a high ante. So, maybe I would say 30 minutes is a reasonable amount of time to do 8 antes of gold stake if you just want to finish a gold stake run. And then maybe if you want to do something a little bit fancy, if you want to do something a little bit further, you might have to play a little bit fast. So it's not necessarily purely about speed, but also you want to be, if you lose your run, you're not going to have as much time as yesterday. You're not necessarily going to be able to run it back. So if you want to go further, you have to do it in one go, with some maybe limited scouting in ante 1 or ante 2 to give you a head start. But otherwise, we're just going to see everyone run and figure it out along the way. So it's gold stake. Everyone's on the same deck, same seed, 45 minutes, highest ante. Maybe there could be some ties for highest ante. So maybe a lot of people end up in ante 13 or 14. And if there are those ties, then we will go to high score, whatever the highest score is for the run as the tiebreaker.
Absolutely. Yeah, and taking a look at our leaderboard here, this is how we're going to be showing things. So obviously the ante is going to be the deciding factor here. If there are ties, like Doc said, it will be based on the score. And shout out to Stupid that spent the morning with me trying to figure out how to make this work properly. So there might be some issues, just bear with us. But we'll try to make sure that everything is working properly. And All Drizzle and Ninja Sydney will be helping input all the scores and making sure that the leaderboard is good to go when we do need to show it. So they have done a fantastic, outstanding job of making sure all this stuff works on the back end smoothly. So all I have to do is press a button to make it appear or disappear.
Yeah, huge thank you to the staff that put in a lot of effort behind the scenes yesterday and will continue to do so today. Like Murphy said, Stupid and Murphy were doing spent quite a lot of time troubleshooting this morning. I saw it firsthand, and they,
Fingers crossed.
Kind of, yeah, hopefully it works out. But if not, we really do appreciate the effort that went into making it work as smoothly as it has been so far.
All right. Well, if you two are ready, I'm ready to get
If the
things
competitors
rolling
are
here.
ready, I'm ready.
Okay. I have released my new seed. It is Spook 137.
All right, we're getting spooky again for the second round 1 in a row, I believe. The timer has started.
They're off. Timer has started.
There it is.
Yeah, as people are getting into it, and maybe some more we can say about if you want to survive to higher antes, you have to pass higher scoring requirements. And so you might be looking for some kind of high scoring technology that we saw yesterday. But you still have to survive on gold stake. And with gold stake, you have access to fewer resources, maybe fewer deck building resources, so you can't build as strong of a deck as you might want. Maybe you have to deal with eternal jokers, perishable jokers, rental jokers. And so maybe some jokers that you wouldn't want to stick with for a long time, you still are forced to take maybe as an eternal in order to survive in the early game. And so we're going to see a lot of different possibilities here. We said, maybe limited scouting, so maybe different directions from different players here.
Yeah, compared to yesterday, I think scouting is going to be a little bit less important, not just because they have less time to compete, but that, you want to reach a high endpoint rather than just a high score in a condensed period of time, right? So you're kind of incentivized to do a bit of zoom in, like we saw from a few of the competitors, including Orange Aces, who put up a first place. So, a couple people to maybe watch out for that have experience with that type of gameplay are Parrot Dash and Kai. I believe both of those are members of the speedrunning community. I was watching Kai doing some practice, and, well, not really practice, just the usual gold stake speedruns. Very efficient play in terms of not only meeting the scoring requirements, but also doing so in as little time as possible. And that's something that's that's a difficult line to toe, but something that they're well versed in for sure.
Yeah, and if you don't know,
fun
who
fact,
Kai is
completed
a former world record holder of 50. What is it?
Yeah,
All
that's what I was
15
about to
decks?
say. So all 15 decks gold stake did it in 3 hours and 30 minutes. Also, single deck I think has the record time still.
Absolutely insane. We have a lot of very strong competitors here. Edsy was in our last event, did very well, I believe made to the semifinals. Also made it to the finals of season 1 of MLB, and I think had a pretty good run in season 2.
Yep.
Zano as well, the main host and creator of the MLB, also a very strong competitor. Went head to head with Doc in the first invitational that I believe you participated in, correct, Doc?
Yeah, that was maybe a month or two after the game launched.
Yeah, and I've sorry, go ahead, Roffle.
Yeah, we've also got Belenos Bear, who another runner-up from the previous Gamers Outreach event from last year, as well as another player who put up a strong showing in Major League Balatro. Very capable of handling a wide variety of stakes and difficulties in Balatro, including gold stake.
Does a
Also
lot of
Twitch
challenge
Rivals.
runs.
True, second place in Twitch Rivals as well. We've got
Made me work for it.
We got a lot of
maybe
stars today.
Okay, a couple comments here about the seed that we're on now. The first shop, we have an offering of the bootstraps. Bootstraps gives you more mult if you have more money. So, potentially this balancing act between you want to spend enough money that you're seeing enough game pieces, but maybe saving your money for survival. I think that could be a very solid anti-8 plan, relying on the bootstraps, but then maybe it's preventing you from seeing those longer term tech pieces. We're also seeing in Ante 2, there is a legendary Joker. We're seeing Porkeo on Edsy's screen. I think also I saw it on someone else. I think Kai found it also.
Yeah, we've got Shay and C-Dubs both rocking the Perkeo. There's a few interesting things, Slate. Everybody knows, the value of a Perkeo for like an observatory run where it just sends your score skyrocketing. But for a gold stake run, especially in 45 minutes, that's not super practical in terms of what you want to do. Another tool that Perkeo can be used for is replicating those tarot cards to generate money or generate deck fixing. Doc, you mentioned the bootstraps. If you get yourself a temperance up there, that can turbocharge the bootstraps, maybe allow you to spend down a little bit more to set yourself up for a late game build that could keep you going through. Really, ante 12, ante 11 tends to be kind of the choke point for a lot of your typical gold stake runs, because that's where the ante requirements really start scaling a little bit more than the 9 and 10 endless antes.
Yeah, speaking of temperance, can we get the zoom on Feinberg? Feinberg took the Mega Arcana skip in Ante 1, is maybe not something that's super popular on gold stake, but was able to get that temperance, not just get the temperance, but have the temperance upstairs, and is now able to copy it with Perkeo, exactly like you mentioned. And so one thing that we're going to see from these players is different choices, different options for what they're doing with this legendary, what consumable they're wanting to copy. And something that we could see is sort of this early routing and early scouting. Maybe you don't have time to restart in Ante 4, but if you spend some time optimizing Ante 1 and Ante 2, that can give you a huge head start that can carry you through the rest of the run.
Absolutely. We saw a lot of instances where the late game scouting is what made a big difference for some of the players yesterday. I think you're exactly right, and that's the same point I was about to make, is that early game scouting is really the only thing that you have time for in this, and as a result is going to be potentially very valuable for getting that early game momentum to push you towards the that late game push that you might want for keeping yourself alive in the later antes.
Looks like Gothic has an interesting approach to how they're duplicating their consumables. They did not use the hex and are using the negative hexes as a little bit of extra money. Looks like it could get about $4 from those. Econ's going to be huge, especially in Gold Stake. You need all the money that you can get, especially with any type of rental or perishable, and the Eternal tag showing up as well. So I think I saw, yeah, it looks like Feinberg has the Temperance, which that should be a lot of money for them as well with having that legendary. That's a minimum $10. So
Temperance,
money factory for Feinberg right now.
Yeah, Temperance and the reserve parking to farm a little bit more money, and also underrated facet, especially as these blinds start scaling up. This is great game knowledge from somebody who's not primarily a Balatro creator, but grabbing that Sly Joker, it's a small thing. 50 chips doesn't seem like a lot, but boy does it help when you have, a big source of molt like the bootstraps. That can really keep you alive in this mid game as you're, leveling up certain hands, as you're farming this reserve parking to get your bootstraps bigger. And that can help, keep a run that would die later alive long enough to get that that late game pivot that you're always looking for. So this is, I'm impressed by somebody who's, again, not primarily a Balatro creator, knowing to pick up a, maybe look down upon Joker in order to get the build set up for Gold Stake.
Something I do know about Feinberg is that they have done C++.
Oh yeah, he has done C++, so has some Gold Stake experience. What I was going to say about Sly Joker is 50 more than nothing is a lot more than nothing.
Right.
And you don't have to stick with it for a long time, but sort of taking these temporary game pieces that stabilize your early game. If your scoring is more confident, you can be greedier in other ways.
Yeah, and also we see Unseen Explosion in addition to Feinberg here picking up a trance. That blue seal is a Gold Stake staple for a reason, because it can allow you to generate enough chips on certain hands in order to not have to carry that Sly Joker as your fifth Joker, and open up room for something multiplicative to get you through that ante 11, that ante 12 that is likely to be the choke point here.
Yeah, yesterday we ran into the issue of some players potentially scoring more points than they intended and ending the round too early and not being able to get as much value as they wanted in that round, or potentially not being able to play their big hand yesterday. Today the issue is going to be, can we scale fast enough? Can we meet these rapidly increasing score requirements of the higher stake? And definitely blue seals getting access to these planet cards, that's a way to do that. As sort of an intermediate measure here, we have the legendary Perkeo being used to copy the trance, so that we have even more blue seals. It'll be interesting to see at what point do we stop making that copy and we copy maybe something like Temperance instead.
Right, yeah, that's something, especially I think Feinberg has already committed to that decision, really valuing the couple blue seals that were generated early, and then going back to the Temperance well to keep getting those bootstraps online.
Yeah, speaking of speed here, we've got 4 players in ante 4. We've got Paradash leading the pack in ante 5, fast enough that they might have time to restart if they wanted to. I'm not sure if that's something that they would be interested in, but I do see they don't have Perkeo.
No, but
maybe that could be something that would slow them down.
Yes, especially since I am seeing a hologram there. Hologram on Ghost deck with the Perkeo could generate something, a trash card like Incantation. Could turn that hologram into a 10x Joker that maybe if you now hear me out, we've also seen blue seals in this. You get some hand levels up enough. That could be your entire source of not just chips, but also molt. And then you could theoretically onk the hologram late game for a big pivot to get you through those big number antes as things scale up. Obviously, that's a dream scenario, but something that players could be on the lookout for. A double hologram with a bunch of incantation value could be pretty spicy for making a push that other players aren't able to.
Yeah, and something else that I also saw was there not necessarily similar, but sort of in the same vein here with taking advantage of Perkio. I saw a vampire on, I think Feinberg and someone else's run. They could also be doing something similar with duping a lot of enhancement tarots, your empresses, your magicians, and feeding that vampire very easily, because vampire is a very hungry joker. May not scale the same way as something like being able to get an incantation, but it could be very valuable to get some very much needed X-Malt, because they do need to go relatively deep to lead the pack in this competition.
Yeah, I mean, that's going to be the tension here. You know, do we commit to something safe like the vampire, or potentially hologram we see with a couple players here? That's something that will for sure beat ante 8, or, you know, maybe even up to ante 10, or do we wait a little bit more? Do we gamble a little bit more in order for us to get even more powerful scoring technology?
Yeah, speaking of vampire, I mean, we keep going back to Feinberg here, but picking up a Midas mask, even without the vampire, that could be some theoretical synergy. More critically, though, I think for Feinberg is that cryptid up in the inventory that I don't think any other players have seen yet. It could be a result of the temperance money that is flowing from this Perkio, in addition to the reserve parking. That's a Nan-Inf gamer's dream, right? This seed, you know, given enough time, could be interesting for, you know, getting some not necessarily even red seal, just some steel kings to you know, again, turbocharge those your scoring for those late game antes if you're able to be patient and hold on to the cryptids for long enough. Obviously, that's, you know, not necessarily as easy to do on gold stake as it is on white stake, and you don't get the same acceleration without a blueprint, but you know, still could be a difference maker for getting that additional round or two to get the highest ante for the round.
Yeah, this was, you know, using Perkeo to copy the cryptids on the Ghost deck. This was how the world's first Nan-Inf was achieved. And we typically think of this as a way of sort of this one-time scoring. You use all the cryptids and you make a bunch of cards, and then that's how you're able to score a lot of points with kings held in hand with the Baron. But in these end game antes here, we challenge the players to play to higher antes. You don't need to play every round. You can just skip to the bosses.
Exactly.
And you don't have to use all of the cryptids on one round. You can sort of spread them out. 3 cryptids here, 5 cryptids there. So really interesting to see Feinberg, the only one on this technology.
Looks like we do have Belanos up on that tech as well. They have picked up a cryptid and they're starting to use it to make a couple of queens here. They don't have the hologram, but it looks like Edzi and Kai have found the line here with duplicating a familiar in both of their. And interesting enough, Edzi also has an Ankh, maybe trying to save some of those later to just fully duplicate a very high value hologram for later in the run.
Yeah, that's exactly the play that I was talking about, and not surprising because Edzi and I frequently take similar lines. I watch a lot of Edzi streams, and you know, we have pretty similar play patterns. Maybe I'm a little bit less consistent and reliable than Edzi on their wins, but you know, I like this play. Unfortunately, it does destroy one of the many blue seals, which I was just about to shout out as a potential tool for making that possible, right? Because if you're going to commit to something like multiplying or onking your hologram, you do need a lot of those blue seals in order to carry that base molt and that base chips, because like Doc said earlier, you kind of need a foundation in order to multiply off of, whether it's the Sly Joker or the just the hand levels from blue seals.
I find it interesting, Bear has used his last cryptid, and so if he wants more cryptids, he will have to find more. I think with the cryptids, we talked about sort of the short-term or one-time scoring potential of using a bunch of cryptids to fill up your hand, but you can also use them sort of in the early game to do the deck building and copy your value generators, or copy, if you want to play 4 of a kind or 5 of a kind, you can make those copies now and then still hold the cryptid and then copy cryptid later. Maybe if you have access to enough money, then you can just find another different cryptid later. We now see cryptid for Paradash leading the pack in the ante 6, so it will come up for these other players as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Parrot Dash without the Perkio to get additional copies, but still doing a good job of consistently pumping this hologram. We mentioned that you know, those spectral cards could be good for getting the hologram off the ground and to a bigger number. But if you're holding them in your inventory, even though you're generating them each round, they can't show up in the shops anymore. So, you know, you do lose the potential to see additional copies of them. So there's kind of a bit of a balancing act there in terms of...
Looks like Zeno has found the tech too. Familiar and Ankh in Ante 5.
Yeah, it does look like...
hologram still has Perkio.
Right, it does. And we do see a Baron as well with the Perkio. That's got to be tempting for at least some folks, as we see Edzy grab it. No, roll past it. Oh, no, not again.
No.
Oh,
I don't think
no.
that was intentional.
I didn't want to bring this up, but they are known in their community as Throwzy.
And that is a mistake that I believe happened in the playoffs for Major League Balatro as well. So the good news here is they're only on Ante 5. You could run it back. You could.
Yeah,
I mean, this might be a situation where you do run it back, especially if Edzy has already seen copies of the cryptid potentially. Knowing that you can get a Baron changes your game plan for what you might want to copy with that cryptid, or what you might want to build towards in general with that Perkio.
Unfortunate for them, their interesting fact is that they're a professional thrower of gold stake streaks.
That timing could not be any more unfortunate.
Prophetic.
Yes.
Oh, it looks like Parrot Dash has picked up the Brainstorm. I don't see any of our competitors with the Brainstorm. It is rental and perishable, so that is going to cost a lot of money. But she has plenty of money. $121 or $129 in Ante 7 will go a long way, especially in gold stake.
Yeah, able to copy the mail-in rebate here for even more.
And we see Gothic Lord just lose by 2 chips on Ante 3. It's unfortunate start, but again, it's fairly early. You can use that information, you can use that knowledge that you gain from you know, the first playthrough, and you know, still push for a decent ante. There's time. Absolutely. We've got 26 minutes left.
We've seen Kai do a 5-minute gold stake run. Gothic can do at least a 15-minute gold stake run for sure.
Oh yeah, Gothic was the first Balatro creator on YouTube, going all the way back to, I believe, the alpha or the beta of the game back in 2023. Gothic was also featured on the Steam homepage, along with myself, in the Balatro Confrontational, where they went head-to-head with the creator of Balatro himself, Local Thunk, and came out victorious. So we've seen Gothic compete on a high level before, so I would not put this setback as too big of an issue for them, because they do have tons of knowledge of this game, probably more, well, definitely more than me, but probably more than most of the competitors here, just because they've been playing it for so long.
Yeah, we've talked a few times about Major League Balatro, was in position 1 for most of season 1 in our division of Major League Balatro, until some scumbag came in and scammed them out of it at the last minute due to tiebreakers. So very, you know, consistent, skilled player, in addition to a great creator that's been doing this for a long time. Absolutely.
Unfortunate game over for Zeno and Ante 5. They are unhappy with that. Skip the first 2 antes here. They must have a lot of the knowledge from those first couple of runs to get through this with skipping relatively easy. Very technical player, very smart. We'll be able to get back as well. So I wouldn't put this this Ante 5 game over with 25 minutes left as too much of a hindrance, because they do know how to get back and put up big scores and go far into gold stake, with Kai currently in Ante 8 right now.
Yeah, but Edzy picking up some really interesting scoring technology that we haven't seen from other folks, with a bloodstone and now a photograph in addition to that hologram, a gold stake staple, primarily for its ability to get you through Ante 8, but that bloodstone really could be an opportunity to get that, the repeated multiplication that we were seeing from big numbers yesterday that can get players out of, difficult situations, especially with a red seal. And the cryptid, if you're able to get a sun card to turn that red seal into a heart, especially with it being a face card for the photograph, that's a score that that can go some places. Maybe even further than that potential Baron could have if you're not able to get a red seal on a king.
Yeah, what
Absolutely.
I was trying to say earlier about the bootstraps is, if you're holding this money, you're not seeing as many jokers, you're not seeing as many game pieces. In order to do the cryptid plan, you do need the Baron. And so, with we saw here with Etsy, they don't have the bootstraps. They've gone for, spending the money, re-rolling down, and they're able to find the bloodstone that other players aren't.
Right, and again, now getting an aura to potentially place on that red seal, we're one, lucky aura roll and one sun tarot card away from, Etsy being in a really good position. There's the aura. Molt is fine. I'm not dissatisfied with Molt.
No.
Really, just especially putting, a gold card on that, you can farm some money in the meantime to further explore those shops, as Doc is saying, and it's really just a matter of time before that Jack of Diamonds becomes a Jack of Hearts and starts exploding the score for Etsy.
Looks like Kai is past ante 8 into ante 9, making a bunch of glass right now. Has an Ecto as well, and still holding on to the cryptid, and also doing a lot of deck fixing by having that hanging Chad there. I did adjust my voice a little bit. We were a little bit low. Feinberg also, I believe, in ante 8. The chat's covering, no, ante 6, the chat was covering a little bit. And Paradash in ante 7 as well, facing the plant, which should not be an issue as they put up 395,000 points. Fantastic score. With ante 8, ante 9, ante 7 for Etsy, with the rest of the pack sort of starting over from the beginning. With C-Dubs as well, has a bunch of familiars. Has 3 familiars just waiting there. As long as they get through these antes, they will be able to, I don't know how many they'll end up getting, but they'll be able to boost up that hologram very well to make things go very far into to endless for them.
True. Not only boosting the hologram, but also the vampire in real time as well, because those are enhanced cards. So you can part ways with, unfortunately, chat's favorite synergy in Midas Mask and Vampire, so you're not reliant on it anymore, and you can basically scale both of those times mult jokers. Doc talked earlier about the key to this run is going to be, as we see Kai, the first person to find a blueprint now for that Perkio, the key is to manage your scaling so that you can, pass these blinds. And another method of scaling is just simply having the quantity of red seal glass that we're seeing out of
That's a lot.
Out of Kai right now. They're way ahead, which is not surprising. The first player to reach endless, given the their history of speedrunning, but also well suited to continue the run through the higher antes with the red seal glass, with that blueprint, with that photograph. All giving pretty good scoring options to continue the run and generating some more cryptids like the other players to continue loading up on that red seal glass.
Well, on that topic, we said, in ante 7, Paradash, no problem blasting through the plant. The plant is the boss that debuffs all your face cards. If we're using the bootstraps, if we're using the hologram, that's a complete non-issue. C-Dubs, having the same ease here, being able to use per KO, copying familiar adding cards, growing the hologram as an option. But Etsy now, potentially has, if I'm relying on the photograph, if I'm relying on the bloodstone here, how am I dealing with this boss with all of my face cards being debuffed?
Yeah, one thing I saw early from Etsy as well, they don't have the bootstraps. There is a lot of blue seal value that's been generated. I believe the 2-pair level is pretty high, and this hologram being copied by that rental perishable brainstorm may be enough to just kind of brute force your way through with those hand levels and that multiplication from the hologram. Etsy sold the Ankh but can effectively get the same result here by copying it with the brainstorm.
For
Also,
sure,
to,
yeah.
to butt in real quick, I forgot to put this up, but chat, you can also vote with your donations on the deck for the next round. Black, Nebula, Painted, or Plasma. Whatever you want our competitors to, well, with a couple of these, you might be suffering through. But I just put that poll up now. ! Donate. We currently have a 2x match in progress by Audrizzle. Again, thank you so much, Audrizzle, from our staff. So your money is doubled right now. Please go and vote for the deck you want our players to play next. Otherwise, I'm going to pick them. And you don't want that.
Okay. So we have a bit of an issue here. If we check out Feinberg one more moment. They're on ante 7. Ante 7 is the plant. They have been making Steel Kings and leveling high card with this Perkio Cryptid. Also reliant on this Photo Chad for scoring right now. Are in a very, very good position if there's a way to get through this plant. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem to have found the Baron that Edzi rolled deep towards, but this is going to be a pretty critical spot for Feinberg. I think been playing the seed extraordinarily well, just needs to find a way past this plant.
Looks like they just picked up the Brainstorm, which could help. They still have a couple of Cryptids to get past the plant if they have some decent non-face cards.
Yeah,
and I just also saw Kai put up 11 million and Ante 11, just absolutely cooking right now.
Oh yeah, there is no chance of Kai slowing down anytime soon with that Red Seal Glass. Looks like an aura to potentially farm a little bit of additional aura, potentially roll high into Polychrome. We haven't seen it this ante. Chips or foil, probably still fine, depending on what that base molt is. That may be a little bit better than just rolling holographic, because with holographic, really only the first one actually does anything with all the doublings that happen on that glass. But, could be in a great spot here to, especially with maybe theoretically 2 open Joker slots in the form of Bootstraps and Hologram, to continue this run nearly to its theoretical endpoint. Like this could be an ante 13-14 build for Kai in 45 minutes, which is outrageous. On gold stake, which is equally outrageous.
Insane.
Yeah, one challenge with the glass cards, typically you play the glass cards, they have a chance of breaking, you have a limited amount. Kai making really smart use of the cryptids here to copy the glass cards. Instead of, that way we have plenty of ammo and then we can just keep going as long as we need to.
Right, and also not copying too many of them, to leave a few of them in the inventory so that you can pick up things like the aura and still have a high probability of copying the cryptid. So, really good, and also just saving time, not having to click the cryptid button every round if it's not needed.
Speaking of clicking
Exactly,
buttons,
yeah.
C-Dub's firing on all cylinders right now, juicing up that hologram to get past the needle.
Yeah, it looks to be maybe aiming for a pivot into that cryptid as the copy for the future, could be, or just wanting to make sure that the needle doesn't needle him too much.
Easy 9 mil on the needle for. Holy Kai, 21 billion ante.
Oh yeah, no, there's
front runner.
I'm telling you, this is. I think the timer is going to be potentially the only thing that could end this run for Kai right now. Although they are playing as a blueprint and a pristine blueprint here.
Oh boy.
This is
we saw the perishable brainstorm earlier, but if you make it to ante 11, then there could be even more. You're seeing more shops, you're getting better stuff.
Yeah,
and then invisible.
Worth mentioning, this is a team event, and Mouth did a great job of consistently placing yesterday. I believe Mouth is Kai's teammate, and put them in a good position to to potentially make a good run at it today as well. So. Bean yesterday when he was in the booth said that his goal was just to put Feinberg in a good position, which he also did. Mouth did the same for Kai.
Absolutely.
As we do see
Feinberg, I think we are duking it out with the plant right now.
And just made it. What a great play to make it through there. That is not easy, given how reliant they are on those Red Seal or not red seal, but actually blue seal steel kings. Now, I don't think that Feinberg found the Baron that Edsy did earlier, but if they find one down the line, that could, give them some potential, especially if they make it to that ante 10, ante 11, where we start seeing the pristine versions of Blueprint and Brainstorm.
Speaking of ante 11, C-Dub's currently in ante 11, picking up the bean.
That is a quick pace from C-Dubs.
Yeah.
They were, C-Dubs passed Parrot Dash, which is, Parrot Dash had a pretty good, early pace that was, looking difficult to surpass, and both Kai and C-Dubs, able to overtake her, and it does seem maybe as a result of trying to find a pivot point out of those bootstraps that we've been talking about. Those are great for blasting through those early antes, but do start, like, flat molt starts to fall off at a certain point. Adding numbers is a lot harder to make big number than multiplying them.
Interesting technology here. Has the Oops All Sixes and the Glass Joker looking to break some glass for some extra X mult, as well as the hologram, juicing that up as much as possible as well.
Yeah, especially when you have access to spectral cards. I really do love the Glass Joker on Gold Stake runs. It does, we talked about scaling, and it does scale at a faster rate than things like a hologram, like a constellation, like a vampire, if you're playing and breaking glass at a high rate, which you will when you have that Oops All Sixes.
Speaking of oops, somebody just donated $50 towards Black Deck for the next for the next round, so our competitors are going to be fighting against that one.
I don't want to shame any of our donors, but that is just mean. Come on. They're already playing on Gold Stake.
If you want to make it easier for them, !donate in chat, or the links pinned at the top of all of our chats here. Black Deck Nebula Painted or Plasma is going to be the next one based off of chat donation vote. So if you want to either make it a little bit easier or a lot harder for them, you can go to the Tiltify, which we still have a 2x donation match right now at $14,718.68. Thank you all so much. And Kai's just absolutely just hauling right now.
Wait, look at all those cryptids too. Using
something's going on in Belanos' stream right now. He's throwing it back 5x.
I mean, that's one way to get a speed run.
That's scaling. Wait.
Hold on. This has to be the result of using Perkio on an Onk, right? That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I've done that once with the Joker stencil. It was one of my greatest accomplishments in this game, and this may be matching it. This is fantastic.
If you didn't already know, the bear is a bit of a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
It has, as a result of putting themselves through just absurdly painful and difficult challenge runs that you might see from
self-inflicted.
Exactly, self-inflicted. You might see might see that out of like a Souls-like streamer or something. Basically, Bear, is the Souls-like streamer of Balatro, forcing themselves to do just absolutely outrageous challenges.
They wake up and eat nails for breakfast for fun, and do flush 5 only. And if I know you might, just play flush 5 the whole time. No, you can only play flush 5. There's a very
including the first round.
Yeah, from the first round on, there is a very specific method to do this. It involves a lot of restarting, but the very first hand to the very last one is nothing but flush 5. And Bear does these for fun.
Yes, well, fun. The one concern I do have with this setup is they are all right now at 2.5. That's a little bit slow scaling for Ante 8. The Verdant Leaf, not really a concern when, again, Bear just brute force the plant, so it's effectively the same thing. But it, is going to be able to put up a solid start here on round 1, but isn't going to reach the Ante 13 or even the Ante 12 that we see from C-Dubs and Kai right now. We do have also Unseen Explosion, is on Ante 10 and Endless, and does have that double hologram that we were talking about, probably the result of an Ankh, one of them being ectoed as well, so it does have some flexibility. Can, pretty easily pass this blind, and has Joker space to maybe scale a bit for the next ante. I think, again, ante 11 is probably pretty likely for their build right now, but may reach a bit of a wall once you reach the billions in ante 12.
I think we're about to see a little bit more than billions from Kai right now, who's in ante 13, dropping a bunch of glass with Dusk that is active, being duplicated by Blueprint and Brainstorm.
With Dusk, with Steel in hand as well. That's a big number. E14, that clears next ante as well. Ante 14, I believe, is managed with a hand like that, and plenty of death, cryptids, and good scoring options. You've even got theoretically an open Joker slot with that photograph. If you find a Sock and Buskin, that would be worth picking up in that spot. You maybe even have the headroom to slam an invisible Joker in that spot and pray it doesn't hit the Perkio. So a lot of space left for the player that is currently our front runner, as C-Dubs is now in ante 12 as well, and not too far behind.
Zanu's picked up a Constellation, could possibly get a lot of X mult out of that from Perkio duping some plans, but looks like they got a bunch of cryptids and some steel here, so they're probably gonna go for a big hand eventually by duplicating those red seal steel, maybe looking for that Baron. I don't remember exactly where it was. I think it was a little bit earlier, but easily clear in the Verdant Leaf as they go into Endless right now.
Yeah, the one
Plutos and many cryptids.
The one concern I do have about Zeno's build right now is there is that 8-ball up in the inventory. Oddly choosing not to sell that Joker, which is a Joker that does nothing, over something else into the Verdant Leaf, which is a little bit confusing to me. But that is a great recovery from a fairly late loss out of Zeno, and running it back, getting into Endless, and honestly well positioned to continue making a push in Endless, especially if even just a Mime shows up. That would be phenomenal with these Red Seal Steel.
Yeah, with Perkeo copying the cryptids, it makes one copy each round. So if you play more rounds, you get more copies. But if you get into the later antes where you have to use the cryptids in order to score points in order to survive, then you're now negative on cryptids. So Zeno making this choice to play more rounds now, get more cryptids now, and then that sets him up to do more skips in the future, get further in the future.
Right. Recognizing that even with only 5 minutes left, time isn't necessarily going to be the limiting factor so much as potentially just the blind scaling if you're not taking these rounds. Speaking of the Baron, though, go ahead.
He has the confidence. He knows how long it's going to take him to do however many rounds, and so he's budgeting for that. Exactly.
Speaking of the Baron, though, we do have Sizak making a push in Endless now. $200 to spend down on ante 10. Still rocking the bootstraps with the burglar to get some extra hands, which does take extra time, but is also extra money to roll the shop deep, find a pivot point, and maybe find that Joker that he's cosplaying as right now. Also is building towards that Red Seal Glass Jack, so time permitting, with all of these cryptids, could approach something that resembles what Kai has been building towards for a while now. So that's, definitely a little bit time limited, but has some very serious upward potential and mobility with now picking up a photograph here.
Yeah, on the topic of cryptids, Feinberg just cleared ante 12, beginning ante 13, has the most cryptids I've seen across the entire playfield.
Yeah, it may, just because of the time it's going to start taking to resolve hands, it may be coming close to oh my god, 360 no scopes a Brainstorm out of nowhere to turbocharge that Perkio, and just as I'm saying, it does start taking the skips with Red Seal Steel Kings, so that you can just you have enough cryptids at this point. You need to blow through antes. This is maybe one competitor that could catch Kai right now. Actually, unbelievable roll there, off of a Wraith to grab that Brainstorm.
Does a good for them right now.
Yeah, honestly, did a good job of you know, maybe could have gotten away with one less cryptid there, but doing a good job of budgeting the cryptids, testing out, especially into the Flint, how many do I need to expend here? Because you want to save those for those later antes where again, you're going to need more cryptids to cover the more score required of you.
Ante 15 for Kai in the lead here has chosen to make the diamonds jacks, the glass diamond jacks, has run into the diamonds boss. Those jacks are going to be debuffed. There is the boss reroll in the shop. They're beating themselves up a little bit that they forgot to take it when they left the shop.
Yeah, and does have maybe the issue of no longer carrying those cryptids or deaths to make more copies to get that extra hand size. Because one thing that we didn't talk about with cryptids specifically, and even familiar, is that for a card like Steel, as you're seeing from Feinberg, it adds hand size when your hand relies on hand size for score with things like the Steel that both Kai and Feinberg and even Zeno are generating. It cheats hand size into play, and that's why it's such an effective tool for those later antes.
It is on-demand scoring. You can make as much as you need when you need it. Feinberg here played the first hand, high card missed, scored not enough, and then was able to use a few more cryptids to fill in the blanks.
Yeah, and we
for Kai, E19.
E19, incredible score, incredible pace too, and going to be tough to beat for anyone whose name isn't Feinberg right now. We do also see Edzy.
Oh no.
Oh no is right.
The diamonds are debuffed for Feinberg. Took the boss reroll, did not reroll the boss though.
Did have the funds, so that's just a consequence of the timer being up in that corner, keeping an eye on the timer. Maybe you're paying attention too much. Oh, never mind. Does have the preparation for it.
Seal into the suit change. Now we're on hearts.
This is going to be the big score for them.
Just like with that brainstorm, Feinberg knew that a sun card was along the way. I think maybe using a few too many cryptids here.
But I for high score now.
True, but I do believe they have enough time for next ante, and did have enough resources for next ante as well. So, I guess depending on how, well, I say that as the hand takes an eternity to resolve, so maybe has a better assessment of that than me. But
E20,
E20, that is a high score, and I believe that is
one more ante.
That is one more ante, which is
Kai was not.
Yeah, that is one additional ante over Kai, and does put Feinberg in the lead right now. So I don't think anybody's catching that in 45 seconds. We do see Edzy still going strong, picking up a Dusk along with the Oops All Six's Bloodstone Brainstorm. Blueprint. The Blueprint, for some reason, copying Perkio must have shipped it before the hand. Does get an E15. No, I think it was dancing with the Bloodstone. So it was just an attempt to avoid a second Throwzy incident. Holy Ludwig, thank you for the huge donation. Is that Ludwig from video games?
$134.56. Holy moly. That puts us at 4 go-karts funded. I don't know if you selected it, but you're getting your name on Chip's jacket right now, stitched here forever. Thank you so much for the incredible donation. As we round up this first round. Holy. Thank you so much. And we'll take a little bit of time to calculate these scores as they come in. And it looks like, do we want to go ahead and call the time on the poll right now for the deck?
I think so.
What's the deck going to be? Yep.
It's $165 to Nebula. That's going to be an interesting one for sure.
I mean, that's a slight improvement over the choice of Black Deck. But
true.
Holy.
Black Deck was in second.
We saw... we missed it, but Sizak coming in at E13 as well. I can't tell where the ante is because the Baron, Pog Baron is covering it right now.
Ante 14, it looks like.
Another good last-minute push from both Edzy and Sizak. They're getting themselves, up there on the board. That very well navigated from a lot of these players on Gold Stake. with a lot of maybe resources that are difficult to use. Surviving while carrying a Perkio sometimes can be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, just holding on to it. Also, just finding the right thing to use it on is difficult. It's so open-ended, and on the Ghost deck with access to the spectral cards in the shop, even more open-ended. And we saw the players using them in a couple different ways. So we saw C-Dubs using Familiar. Familiar is the one that adds 3 face cards to your hand. Enhanced face cards was able to grow not just Hologram, but Vampire at the same time, giving them some very easy, very stable scoring that way. We saw often the Cryptid gets used to copy the Kings for the Baron. These players went for a wide variety of different scoring plans. So we saw copying steel cards, yes, of course, but also copying the glass cards for Kai. Kai making it to ante 15.
Yeah, and I'm going to reiterate the fact that I am incredibly impressed by how Feinberg navigated that seed. Using a lot of a wide variety of tools there to stay alive in those early to mid game antes, and then make a big pivot into that. Like Doc said, that frame 1 Nan-Inf tech that people were using early, but just utilizing that to pump additional antes out of that, and maybe even could have had one more if there was a couple more minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, piling on here with those cryptid cards, you're copying them with Perkeo, but it's still a limited resource, and so you have to budget how many am I using them each round, or potentially each ante if we're skipping to the bosses. And I think Feinberg did a really good job budgeting that.
Absolutely. A fantastic performance for first round for all of our competitors. Deep into the 12s, 13s, 14s, and even 15s and 16s. Like, I'll just say all the numbers, because obviously our Gold State competitors came to play. Some of them might be shaking a little bit of the rust off in that first round, but that's the good thing about this competition, is that the points are not as far apart between first place and 11th place as one might think. So one round is not going to be the end all be all for how you perform in the rest of the competition, because we saw yesterday Young Skirt went from very last place in the first round to showing up in the next 2 rounds to taking second place overall. So yeah, it's anybody's game. Absolutely.
And these players, some of them have the have a bit of a not too much of one, but a bit of a head start from their teammates yesterday as well. So a combination of sort of the flattened scoring and the fact that it's a 2-day event means that nobody is out of this yet, right? And especially with Nebula deck coming up, anything can happen here.
Which I guess we'll see how excited our competitors are to see Nebula as opposed to the other options that they did have. But we're going to wait a little bit to get these scores. Chat, I just want to once again thank you for $16,280 raised. I'm going to shout out a couple of our donations real quick. Softest Cat, Matt, $40 says, take my money. Ludwig for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Helly for $25, Anonymous for the $1, Dolphcat for $50, Odd Drizzle with that $250 match complete. Let's start off strong. Good luck to the Gold State Gladiators. Focus Shock with $100. Many thanks to all of the event organizers and the participants. It's insanely fun to watch. Shout out to Unseen My Goat.
And shout out
Willie the Wino with
shout out to Focus Shock, another fantastic Balatro creator. So
absolutely. Willie the Wino, $5 says, I got 5 on it. Stupid with the $25. Maybe we don't want everyone to suffer that much. I believe they voted on not Black Deck for the upcoming round. Donslit, $50 on Black Deck. Jackie for $5. NRM for $10. McChicken Fresh with $50 says W Gamers, W Balatro. Bryn Rye with $5. Omega with the $5. I can't do much right now, but I want to help regardless. And like I said before, chat, it doesn't matter if it's $1 or $10,000. Every little bit goes a long way. $10 buys a new item in the save point vending machines for these kids. $4,000 builds a go-kart. We've already funded 4 of those. It's going to be an insane impact on these children's lives when they're going through any of these treatments in these care centers and hospitals. $30 buys a new controller, $60 buys a new game, $500 upgrades an old cart to like some of the newer consoles, or new wheels, ones that have been around for a while. So the money goes a long way, and it makes a massive impact. And the stuff that you guys have done so far has been absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, actually, absolutely incredible amounts of support already. Again, we had to double the goal for the event.
Yeah.
after day one. So, also big thank you to a lot of the players. On the fly, coming up with new incentives to keep the event rolling and so we still have some milestones for day 2.
All right, let's take a look at the first leaderboards. We might need to do a little bit of explaining on some of this, but it is operating a little bit different than it was yesterday. So we do have a couple leaderboards to look at right here. Let me remove this real quick. Maybe we updated the wrong one. There we go. Okay, I just had to refresh it. Feinberg in first with ante 16, Kai CTV ante 15 in second, Edsy TV also in 15 on the ante as well, but Kai did have a higher score, so that's going to put them a little bit higher in the leaderboards. Sizak with E13 and ante 14, Zano with E12 and ante 14, followed by C-Dubs, Unseen Explosion, Belanos Bear, Paradash, Shay, and Gothic Lord UK. Gothic was having a little bit of tech troubles. It looks like their stream went off and on a couple times.
Yeah, definitely.
We might need to double check one of the scores real quick. We're getting some word from the staff room right now, but for the most part, this is accurate. We might need to do a little bit. Oh yeah, it looks like Paradash and Belanos should be switched. Looks like Paradash did score more than Belanos did, so we will make adjustments as needed for this. Like I said, these leaderboards are a little scuffed for the software that I decided to use, so just bear with us as we get some of this stuff fixed. But we will make sure that is accurate at the end.
Yeah, and I do believe it should result in the same amount of points for both players, but like reaching ante 12 on Gold Stake is no easy feat. So that being, kind of the benchmark that we talked about with that filter point is not surprising, but what is surprising is by like how many folks reached that point. As we saw, we maybe missed Zano coming in at the last minute along with Sizak putting up big numbers there at the end to get through to those ante 13, ante 14 points, which are quite difficult to reach on Gold Stake, especially in such a short period of time. So well done by all players. I mean, again, just completing a run on Gold Stake is it's a task in and of itself. So very well done.
Absolutely. Everybody
should be very happy with that. And again, as we saw yesterday, you mentioned Young Skirt. Nobody's out of this right now. Like, you have a good showing or in round 2 and 3, and you can quickly climb up the leaderboard.
1 second as we try to get our points leaderboard working. I think that's something on my end where I did not use the right link. So let me take a look here real quick. There we go. I just had to go in and click it. So it looks like we have Feinberg in first place with 50, Edsy and Kai with 45, C-Dubs, Sizak, and Zano. Don't worry about the numbers on the side. They are tied. Just worry about the numbers on the right. But 40 points for C-Dubs, Sizak, and Zano. Bear with 35, Shay with 35, Parrot Dash, Gothic, and Unseen Explosion as well with 35 points. Now, these points are going to add up as we go throughout the rest of today. And then the total points for Gold Stake will be combined with yesterday's White Stake teammate scores for the overall score at the end of the competition. And if there's any tiebreakers, we will figure out the tie-breaking stuff as we go. But at least for right now, these are our standings. And thank you so much to the staff that made this work, because I would be sitting here doing math with my fingers and toes for about 45 minutes. And it's a lot smoother with them on the back end working on this stuff. So shout out to the staff for making sure that these leaderboards work.
Yeah, claps in chat for the staff. They're working hard behind the scenes. Again, we talked yesterday about how difficult it is for Murphy already running production and commentating and on top of coordinating the event, but that takes a big it would be even more of an ask to try and calculate scores between rounds. There would be longer delays getting that sorted.
It'd be
The players would be getting angsty waiting for their next seed to come out. So it's we really do appreciate the effort that the folks helping us out here are putting in today.
For sure. Obviously, all of the scores are collected and then, entered manually. But, I saw a bunch of messages in the chat late last night and early this morning, getting the leaderboard display, getting it all updated and changed to include the scores, which we didn't have yesterday.
Absolutely. All right. Gold Stake competitors, Nebula deck. I've sent out the ping. Are we ready for round 2?
I'm ready to release, yes.
Oh, God.
Brace for impact. We'll give a little bit of a buffer to start the timer so we can make sure that they have input the seed.
Okay. It's on its way.
I'm going to reload real quick because there is a little bit of input delay on some of these streams. We are all over the globe right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are East Coast, West Coast, overseas, and everywhere in between. So we're dealing with a lot of time zones right now, and not everybody's internet is, fiber ready. So there is a little bit of delays, but it seems like we are good to go. And let's lock and load.
Yeah, Roffle, you were talking about a little bit of a challenge before. We had one of the voter options was black deck, and we decided, okay, we'll do Nebula deck instead. It's not necessarily an easy deck either.
No. A lot of people will claim that it's actually harder than black deck. I strongly disagree, but that's just a matter of personal opinion. The one, especially for just completing an ante-8 run, which maybe isn't necessarily the goal of these players. Nebula deck does have some tools at its disposal. You do get the telescope, so if you focus on a hand, you can really juice the planet levels there without having to rely on a blue seal. As we see an early idle in this build, Bean says it. Every run is an idle run. So why not this one? Another tool that maybe these players are less incentivized to go for, but I'm a big fan of, is there's also an astronomer, as we see from C-dubs in that first shop. That pairs really nicely with the telescope, really giving you a head start on the on those planet levels that can almost operate as your full scoring for a bit.
Yeah, especially with how Nebula deck is, with only having that one consumable slot. You can't just really rely on the blue seals as much as you can on other decks without those vouchers. So picking up that astronomer and just getting free planet packs in the shop and in your rerolls is super valuable on Gold Stake, because that's a lot of money saved, because those packs aren't cheap. Every pack you open early in Gold Stake, your econ can suffer, as we see C-dubs picking up a brand new free Venus to juice up that 3 of a kind a little bit for them.
Not just the blue seals, but if you want to play a longer game, usually we think about building a stronger deck. We see Gothic here picking up Cartomancer. That one consumable slot is going to make it much more difficult to use your tarot cards, much more difficult for you to build that kind of long-term deck, the kind that the idol might want you to build.
Yeah, the idol on a Nebula deck run seems ambitious, to say the least, right? You've got...
Especially this early.
Yeah, especially this early, especially as a rental. I would avoid that Joker like it's an ante-1 Baron, is how I would see that.
Yeah, maybe we could say, one thing we saw last time was not that many Eternal Jokers, so the players were kind of free and then had a lot of access to money so that they could reroll past Eternal Jokers and sort of pick and choose whatever Jokers they want. One thing that could be particularly difficult about this seed, there are strong Jokers early, but they're Eternal. So we're seeing Eternal Mail-in Rebate for Zeno. We're seeing Eternal blue Joker for Gothic here. That blue Joker is going to be very safe and stable in the early game, but then now that is a dead Joker slot much later on once we get to ante 10, 12, 13.
Right. I think just by nature of it being Nebula deck and not having access to an ante, 2 Perkio, we'll probably see some lower scores and lower antes as a result of that. One thing that these players do have access to, and which can help offset some of these Eternals, and especially the Eternal Rentals, is there was that ante 1 investment tag. That's maybe your single best skip in all of Balatro, is an ante 1 investment tag to really get that econ off to a head start and giving yourself an opportunity to, roll deeper in those mid-game shops.
The second best being that negative skip.
Yes, of course.
With some amount of scouting, even better that negative skip.
Could be.
On this particular seed, if you take that first investment tag, you get one less shop in ante 1. You get one less buffoon pack in ante 1. That extra buffoon pack is where potentially that mail-in rebate could come from. And maybe mail-in rebate is the strong enough kind of Joker that you would be willing to take as an Eternal.
Exactly.
So you're getting the money from the investment tag, but then that comes at the cost of potentially some other important Joker that we see Zeno picking up here for the second time after restarting.
Right. That that investment tag is great early money, but it is a one-time injection of cash, whereas the mail-in rebate that we're seeing from Zeno right now is by nature of being Eternal, is consistent money over the course of the run. So you kind of having to balance those two things. Obviously, a strong start in econ, especially on gold stake, is very helpful, but is that better than seeing another shop being able to farm that rebate for the entirety of the run?
Really liking what's going on with Pear here. She's got no Eternals, made it to round 7, no Eternals, so has sort of the freedom to build however she chooses as the run progresses.
Right, no Eternals and good money going on, which, again, that money is what gives you the flexibility to pivot out of these Jokers, which are, just frankly good enough to keep the run going until you can find something that maybe offers you that scoring tech that the players are finding last run.
Yeah, and had she not picked up that Astronomer, probably wouldn't have the econ that she has right now to explore the shop a little bit more than some of our other competitors. Although our money situation, for the most part, we do have a couple of standouts with Belanos and Kai in the 20s, C-Dubs as well, close to 30, Unseen Explosion, and Zeno also with around $20. So that econ is going to be insanely important to pick up things like vouchers, open as many packs, and maybe re-roll a little deep. Looks like they're opting for the Sock and Buskin. It is rental, so that will hurt the econ a little bit, but like I said, that Astronomer will allow them not to spend too much in the shop when they want to level up their planets.
Right. Also, it has some, Sock and Buskin, more of a long-term Joker that you want for re-triggering things into something like the Idol or your Glass that we saw last round. But it has some immediate value here with the smiley face just to provide some decent molt. An underrated aspect of the Astronomer, and why I think it was maybe for this deck one of the best ante-1 picks, as we see, again, Parrot Dash making good use of that, is, not only does it give you free packs, it gives you free planets in the shop that you can then buy and sell for an extra $1. So if you're rolling deep enough into these shops, or maybe you have overstock, worst case scenario, it's like a golden Joker every round. On top of that, it also gives you free access to, scaling a constellation if that shows up, which is a good gold stake Joker, and also gives you access to just, pumping those hand levels as you need them.
A little bit awkward on the Nebula deck here with only one consumable slot. So Paradashia has the Death card upstairs, is not able to buy and sell the Planet card, just has to buy and use if that's something that she wants to do. We just saw Feinberg was in the lead in Ante 5, just restarted. Also, about the same time restarts with Gothic and Zeno and Unseen Explosion. We're seeing, potentially some working around the early game in order to catapult us into the future. With only 8 minutes down, we still have plenty of time for restarts for other players who still might want to.
Right. And
That was a tough decision right there. Wanted to take that hermit with $0. You can't double nothing.
right.
So
And you
opted for that judgment instead.
right. And normally in a situation like that on other decks, you might be able to carry a hermit or something along those lines, but with only one inventory slot, that's not possible. It really limits your tarot generation. We talked about the investment tag early and the potential for scouting that some of these players are doing as they run it back. The investment tag does allow you to see a little bit more of those early shops, get a sneak peek, and then you can run it back and maybe decide if it's worth it. I'm not sure what happened to C-Dubs here, but I hope he is okay. That's I don't know, that has happened to me on occasion in my YouTube videos, but I've never seen it happen live before as he's going funhouse mirror mode right now.
I think I can figure out what's going on here. So you know how their partner Dave is made up of 75% cheese? Their blood is made up. I think C-Dubs might be made up of around 100% Jello at the moment, as unhappy with that round, but they will move forward as they go into the tooth right now, which with $16, not as big as a buff as one might think. It depends on what they're playing card wise. But if they have to play multiple 4 or 5 card hands, they might be coming out of the tooth with a big bill to pay to the dentist at the end of this.
On top of the 2 rentals.
Yeah, this is.
I didn't even realize. Yeah. Oh boy.
Whew.
Yeah, C-Dubs just picked up Sock and Buskin. We already see it with Paradash and also Edzy. So, the Sock and Buskin being able to re-trigger your cards, that's going to be a very powerful long-term plan. It may not do a whole lot for us now, and it is going to cost us a lot now as a rental. And so we want to, maybe find a way to generate money from that, or find a way to generate money some other way.
Now, Doc, I got a question for you. I'm noticing something. And you said it before in pre-chat that you're a little devious. This is a high ante competition, and we're seeing a very early I'm blanking on it. The go back in time voucher to make the ante go back in time, because I can't remember the word for it. Care to comment on that? Is that potentially some tech, or is that just there as a little bit of bait?
In generic gold stake runs, I do like these vouchers. I think if you go back and repeat an ante, that gives you more time, more shops. You get to see more stuff. You can develop your deck. You can scale your jokers. If you have scaling jokers, you can generate more money if you have value generating jokers. Potentially, if you have a boss that's difficult for you to beat, you can take the voucher to reduce the scoring requirements temporarily. In a speedrun, it's not necessarily a bad thing, because you can take those extra antes and just play them quickly.
Right.
Like a couple of our competitors have picked up the hologram as well.
Yeah, second hologram sighting. Notable gold stake gamer Espav. Best advice, I believe, during the Twitch Rivals event was click the card that says hologram. Some of these players today taking that to heart, and twice now clicking the card that says hologram. If you've got a decent amount of econ, you need something multiplicative to clear gold stake blinds, almost, especially when you're trying to do so like at a quick rate. There are few jokers that are multiplicative jokers that scale as quickly as you can get a hologram going with even just a decent amount of econ.
Also, do want to shout out SBAV real quick. We're originally a part of this event, but did have to bow out, unfortunately. Fantastic Balatro creator, fantastic gold stake player, 41 streak, did all 15 decks back to back. Doc, I believe that's currently their record of 15 decks, no losses back to back, is currently the world record, correct?
If you consider it a speed run, we could say that it's they did it in, I don't know, a little bit less than a day. That's the fastest anyone's ever done it.
Fantastic work by SBAV. Fantastic creator. Everyone, please go follow them. The streams are fantastic vibes. Highly recommend checking them out, as well as all of our amazing competitors right now. You can type !players in my chat and go to every single one of these players. Hit that follow button. Go to their YouTubes, their socials, whatever. Follow them because they are fantastic creators, and we are absolutely blessed to have them here.
Yeah, speaking of good vibes and SBAV, if you take a look at what Shay's got cooking up here, does have a runner, does have that hologram. So the runner gives a good source of scaling chips. The hologram gives a good source of scaling molt. I believe Shay was a little disappointed in their performance in round 1, but does look to be in a really good spot here for this particular run. Having 2 sources, you don't necessarily need scaling flat molt if you have the scaling chips to cover that side of things and the scaling timed molt from a hologram here. The beautiful thing about a runner is, yes, it wants you to play straights, but you still get the benefit of the runner if you play another hand. So you can take the time to to ramp up the runner, and then at a certain point, especially with like Ride the Bus, with Swash, with Abstract Joker, you become pretty hand agnostic, and it doesn't matter what hand you score or you play, it's going to score about the same.
Yeah, often if you are playing straights, if you are getting those Saturn cards, each Saturn card is giving you 30 chips. That's a lot of chips per planet card. Your straights have a lot of chips, and so the runner doesn't really benefit that build very much. So, you know, for me, the best use of the runner is playing this mini game of playing some straights sometimes, and then applying those chips to other hands, helping enhance those weaker hands.
Right.
And so,
I always
Shay here having a very easy clear of the anti-5 boss, the plant, debuffing all the face cards, not something that Shay is worried about at all.
Right. I frequently say that the runner is my favorite pair Joker, because one of the limitations of playing pairs, if you're not able to get blue seals or if you're not able to get telescope online, obviously it doesn't apply here to Nebula deck, is that it solves the chip problem. Molt Jokers are easy to come by, especially flat Molt Jokers. There's an abundance of them. The limiting factor for a lot of builds on Gold Stake ends up being chips, and the runner solves that problem very well.
So we approach 30 minutes remaining in this round. It looks like Kai is currently in the lead with ante 7, followed by Shay with ante 6, and I think C-Dubs or Edsy did have an ante 6 on the board, but must have either reset or unfortunately game overed. They might be taking this opportunity to go back and with all the information that they have and optimize this run a little bit better for them, since they did go relatively far into this run in ante 6. So they might be cooking on something. And it looks like Zeno's picked up a Bloodstone, something that we don't see from any of our other competitors yet. They found some good scoring, provided that the head doesn't show up. Could take them pretty far, provided that Bloodstone actually works.
Right.
We all know how that is.
Well, there is the benefit of also the sock and buskin. Maybe giving yourself more I jinxed it. But that could be a good route to replicate, because with the sock and buskin, with the fact that you're playing on Nebula deck, an underestimated aspect of the Bloodstone is that you need base chips and molt, otherwise it's not doing anything, even if it does hit. So being able to level up Jupiter as a result of having that telescope, knowing that Bloodstone is coming, could be a good setup with that additional information that other players don't have.
Yeah, we did see the Bloodstone activate there, but it was a low level flush, and that's why we weren't seeing the points that we wanted. With the Sock and Buskin, it being a rental, we said, okay, maybe it's not going to do a whole lot for you. That is the challenge, is you have to find something for it to do, and maybe the Bloodstone could be this unique answer that we haven't seen the other players find yet.
Yeah, so if Zeno is, which wouldn't surprise me, taking Duck's advice to heart and taking notes here, should know how to get back to that point, especially with the mail-in rebate. The mail-in rebate is probably the solution to how Zeno found it, and others maybe weren't able to. And you can see, not just because it's ante-1, but also with the knowledge that Bloodstone is coming, Zeno throwing a lot of flushes here to get that telescope ready to go.
Kai declining the photograph here in ante 8.
Blasphemy.
They are
positioned
fairly well to get through a lot of this with their 2 X-Molt Jokers, and it looks like they've either been able to fix their deck relatively well, or they just happen to get some really nice draws, but it looks like they've had some good deck fixing along the way. Yes, a lot of spades for Kai to make sure that blackboard fires every single time, doing the SBAV special of just play the pairs.
Yeah.
And let the numbers fall where they may.
Yeah, I did joke about it being blasphemy. This is absolutely not a situation where you want to photograph, especially when you're going to be trying to pump that hologram as your kind of Joker carry in this situation long term. You know, probably way too early with only a level 8 pair hand, but is potentially going to be our first competitor to reach endless. You know, all things, assuming nothing goes wrong, as I hopefully don't, you know, curse Kai as I did Zeno with that Bloodstone.
You don't get to ante 12 unless you pass ante 8 first, and so you know, I really like Kai taking a relatively safe, understandable ante 8 plan, and then, you know, maybe we get a few extra antes out of that, maybe not. Either way, we are well ahead of the pack.
Right, and like we mentioned with Parrot Dash early, Kai currently not locked into any Eternal Jokers, so does have the capacity, you know, maybe not so much now without a whole lot of econ available, but does have the capacity to maybe pivot out of this Joker roster into something a little bit longer term.
Looks like Feinberg just got past the plant. Also does not have any Eternal Jokers on their lineup. They do have a Renta with that blackboard, but I think that the mult that it provides pays for that relatively easily. With $30 in their account right now, they're sitting okay going into Andy 6 here. Gothic has taken an Eternal Midas Mask with that Sock and Buskin. If they find a golden ticket, they'll have more money than I think, I don't know, anybody in this competition if it starts firing like that. There is the plant in this seed, so as long as they can get past that, one of the things that a lot of these competitors need to do is either commit or not commit too hard to a specific type of card, because if they go too heavy into faces early and they run at the plant and they don't have any backup scoring, they're most likely either going to get a game over or have to restart. As Kai just hit a game over in ante 8, unfortunately.
Just
their Jimbos got shuffled, as Doc liked to put it.
I think it was
Amber Acorn.
Yeah, I think it may have been more an issue of not having enough air levels to cover the chips, and the ice cream just kind of melting on them before getting through that ante 8 boss. So really unfortunate. We talk a lot about you know, how Nebula deck is difficult and you know, can be a bit frustrating for players to get those deep endless runs online. I don't think that's the choke point right now for these players. I think it's just a matter of not having the same quality of Jokers that we saw on offer last time, in addition to not, like, econ has been very difficult to come by. I think Zeno, with this drunkard and mail-in rebate and the knowledge that that Bloodstone is coming, could be in a good spot to maybe overtake some of these players, even though, you know, still on ante 2 right now. Does seem to be the one player that is aware of the technology available to, you know, get that ante 10, 11 push that may be quite a bit more difficult on this seed than it was the last one.
Yeah, 24 minutes remaining. You know, Zeno, the only one using the mail-in rebate, and that's how he was able to find the Bloodstone that these other players weren't able to find. Gothic using the Midas Mask. Other people were offered the Midas Mask, but chose not to take it as an Eternal. But, you know, that extra money that you get from the Midas Mask, even if you stop using the Midas Mask, that can still catapult you into these other very powerful pieces in the shops.
Ooh, and unfortunately we see Shay, who did seem to be in a good position to at least clear ante 8, if not 9, possibly 10. Took an unfortunate loss, it seems, and is going to have to start fresh. I'm not sure what their highest ante was, but
I believe it was 6.
Still, you know, the way things are going right now, an ante 6 run is is at least top half of this. This has been you know, a challenging seed for everyone right now.
Sizek tying with Kai for the lead here, about to enter. Sorry, I read that wrong. It's ante 6, not ante 8.
Yeah, but it does seem like it does have the scaling flat molt, does have the scaling chips in the runner, and has the scaling times molt and hologram. Could be maybe having an additional piece over what Kai had going into that ante-8 that might make it a little bit more feasible with that runner that we talked about, juicing the pair build that I'm assuming is present.
Feinberg now in ante-7, one of the only competitors to other than Shay to take that Eternal Stencil. The more jokers you add, the less mult it gives, but with 3 X-Mult jokers and a pair level at 16, which is fantastic because of a couple of blue seals that have been picked up along the way, and it looks like some good deck fixing. Feinberg is in a good position as well to at least make it 2 or through ante-8, depending on how the rest of this ante goes. A lot of X-Mult on the table, but as you can see, those pairs don't necessarily go entirely far without some flat mult as well, because they're just multiplying that base 17 mult right now, which is not a lot.
No, but do have some blue seals in play. Also, again, the telescope is available, but you know, and the hologram could get up a little bit. I'm noticing there seems to be few resources available, or fewer certainly resources available to these players to really get that hologram going. Not being on not having access to spectral cards, but also just not a whole lot of standard packs in the shop to make that work. But I do think that this could very well be an ante-9 on the board for, at the very least, for Feinberg, if things go well for them as they just run straight into the Oxy here, unfortunately.
Oh, no.
But again, would be our first player to clear ante-8, so that's unfortunate, but could, you know, could be enough to put another big score on the board.
Yeah, they don't know that they might be in the lead, but they definitely have the technology. Also, the red steel card, able to give you that mult where you don't need as many plus mult jokers, so that you can leave room for the stencil.
Right, and a level 17 pair as well is really, again,
and climbing.
Impressive work from, you know, a player who's not mainly a Balatro creator, having that game knowledge to really make use of Nebula deck, right? The Nebula deck is a downside that you have one less consumable, but if you leverage the telescope effectively, you can offset some of that.
They picked up the hieroglyph to go back in time to make sure that they can at least, I'm assuming, probably get past. Oh, they did re-roll it into the arm, so they are going to lose something along the way, but they went back in time, which is interesting. I guess it's going to give them some more time to build up that hologram and maybe deck fix a little bit more, because there are some red cards still in the deck. Real quick, as we are around halfway, I just want to read out a couple of donations. Stupid, thank you for the 1999. Tanuki Yuki, it's not much, but I hope it will help someone. $5, it absolutely will. Glitches Brew, I got my appendix out when I was in kindergarten, having an SNES, best console ever, with Star Fox. Made my whole experience so much less scary, and that's what we're aiming to do with these go-karts here at Gamers Outreach. Juan Torres, $50. Child Roland, $5. Thank you guys so much. And once again, we do have new incentives and goals for today, so if you want to go check those out, !donate. We are approaching our $17,000 goal, which will force Murphy to play Fortnite until he wins. He might become a Fortnite creator.
Sounds like a short stream, actually.
Maybe. But thank you all so
I'm really
much.
interested in what Zano's got going on here. So we saw Zano earlier with the low level flush, and then Sock and Buskin with the Bloodstone. Even with the Bloodstone activating, was not enough points to clear the one boss. Has already made it back to where they left from before. You know, now with the level, I think 5, maybe level 6 flush, is able to put up, I saw 50,000 points already in the previous round. And so, you know, only level or only ante-4 right now, but definitely has a strong setup to go the distance with a full 18 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, the combination of that Sock and Buskin, good use of wild cards to make some more hearts, and then also just having a red seal, that red seal steel 10 that we saw from Parrot Dash earlier, gives the flexibility. It can either double, you know, give you 2 chances at hitting the Bloodstone, or just be held in hand for 2 guaranteed Bloodstone triggers, basically.
And so, 1 strength card away from being a jack for the Sock and Buskin face card.
Exactly. So really good. I'm curious to see what the level 6 flush, which, you know, for ante 5, that's pretty good. Level 7 now, so getting some good base to foundation to work off of with that bloodstone.
Looks like Sizak has picked up the family as they enter in ante 7 right now. They are on the board with Feinberg right now, both in ante 7, round 20 and round 21, respectively. As they make their way through the rest of this ante, it looks like Sizak is looking for that final jack, which they did hit, along with some pretty decent mults here. 4x for them, should be able to get past the Ox relatively easy, putting up 400,000 as they move on to ante 8.
Yeah, that is, again, enough to clear the ante 8 most of the boss blinds. But also, again, does have flexibility in the build in order to pick up that family, right? That's a result of having the scaling flat mult and chips from Fortune Teller and Runner here, and giving the opportunity to again, by not having Eternal Jokers, pivot into something like a 4 of a kind with the family, as now the photograph comes in here, and we're really looking at something that could turn into an endless viable build now for the first time, aside from Zeno, who is still several antes behind.
Yeah, you were talking about it before, and again now that's a level 1 4 of a kind for a Sizak, but that's plus 285 chips from the Runner.
Mm-hmm. I will say the only downside to trying to play that 4 of a kind is they have a relatively large deck, which looks like they have fixed a good amount. But drawing those 4 of a kinds, 4 and 5 card hands in Gold Stake can be a little bit difficult. That's why a lot of players, especially ones that go for streaks, like to play pairs, 2 pairs and 3 of a kinds to get there, because you might not be able to draw exactly what you need with that deck being so large. But that's the strengths and deaths in these Arcana packs are helping out Sizak a lot here to make sure that that draw is possible for when they need it.
And we do see Feinberg now on ante 8 as well. C-dubs reaching ante 6. That's again been a bit of a hard stop for some players, and no surprise at all. But Kai is already back to ante 7.
Oh wow! You blink and he's back.
I was gonna say, yeah, you look away for one moment and you're gonna miss several rounds from Kai.
It's one thing to talk about his speed. It's another thing to see it live.
Yeah.
No, it's true. I raided into him the other day and saw the gameplay for the first time and was just speechless by the rate at which he's playing, but also still engaging and interacting with chat was quite impressive. So I highly recommend checking out Kai's stream. On non-event days to not only just be impressed by the speed at which they're playing, but also to learn how to be a better Gold Stake player in general.
Extremely
very beautiful deck construction from Feinberg here. Just flashed it. It's all spades and clubs. I think there's only 1 heart and 1 diamond in the whole deck. Multiple of these red seals, some of them already red steel. We've got purple seals to generate tarot cards, and we have the Justice card upstairs. If we want to make that red seal glass card, that could be a tool that we use for the future.
Yeah, it could be the first competitor getting to that endless mark if things cooperate with the Cerulean Bell here.
I think they accidentally played a flush on that first hand.
Yeah,
not realizing.
I think it's going to have to be a glass card here to offset that, and just again, consistently good recognition of the situation from Feinberg throughout both of these first 2 rounds, and is once again in the lead. There are some players that could maybe surpass this build, but there is limited time remaining, and it's been a tough journey for players just to get through ante 8 right now.
Speaking of tough, it looks like Sizak is having a little bit of trouble getting the cards that they want to draw. They I think they already have their 4 of a kind, but they're wanting to keep some steel in hand, it looks like. Hopefully that won't be too much of a barrier as they put up 320,000 Looks like they're going to be
With just
sending
the high
4
card
behind
there.
now.
Yeah, that Steel putting in work, and with the photograph, that red seal is going to more than cover the difference. I think Sizak is, in a much better position right now to continue this run into Endless, and already matching Feinberg probably has the potential to overtake here with the extra times mult jokers that are available, in addition to all of that steel is not, you don't want to sleep on that either. He played a lot of it in that round
as well.
Yeah, picking up the pallet. You played a lot of it there, but could use that to further pump the score, as these numbers start getting bigger.
Yeah, speaking of pumping the score, Zeno picking up the Seltzer here in ante 7. The Seltzer, of course, it's a limited number of hands, but picking up this late, we could see some skipping. We could see the Seltzer go a long distance.
Right, especially with 10 minutes left and retriggers taking time, as we're seeing right now. There could be some skipping. The downside of that is you lose potential scaling from getting more Jupiter levels, as well as money from mail-in rebate. It does look like Zeno, though, was able to get that 10 into a jack, so really in a good spot. Yeah, really in a good spot if that photograph comes around for him.
We have our first appearance of the blue fella. He is perishable, but over on Unseen's run, we have a blueprint showing up in around ante 4. I don't think I've seen that, unless I missed it from anyone. I guess the money situation must have been relatively good for them, and they rolled relatively deep, or maybe it was in a booster pack.
Could be. We do see the astronomer from Unseen that could be helping, support the econ in order to get to the blueprint that other players maybe have missed. But yeah, we could see as this Red Seal 10 gets picked up by Unseen, another strong showing from them as well.
Ante 9 boss for Feinberg, Ante 8 boss for that's Kai.
Mm-hmm. And there was a director's cut in the shop, so we're going to be seeing some different bosses as we go into some of these, which honestly I got a little whiplash on, because I'm going to see the Verdant on some and the the Amber Acorn on others, and I started second guessing myself if I was seeing things correctly.
Yeah,
I was seeing double, if you will.
I think that the in addition to the reroll voucher, it's possible that the hieroglyph and petroglyph might change some things. Doc can correct me on that.
Yes, you will still see the same bosses in the same order, but if you go change antes, it'll still be the same sequence.
Right.
Feinberg in ante 10 now. Ante 9 for Kai, who just barely cleared the Verdant Leaf. Edsy not too far behind in ante 8. Zeno as well in ante 7. Parrot Dash and Bear in 6th. Shay 5th ante. C-Dubs ante 3. And Gothic starting back over at ante 1, trying to find that line with about 10 minutes left here.
Yeah, good recognition once more from Feinberg as well. Approaching the cap for what this build can do. But takes a Mr. Bones so that you can maybe eke out one additional ante against a boss blind. Just skip to the boss blind once you're not able to beat it anymore, which could be happening as early as next ante, and could basically, that Mr. Bones represents a +1 to your score, right? Because we're scoring based on ante here. That Mr. Bones effectively adds 1 to your score. So really good recognition for the game state right now, and and that's again just been consistent across these first 2 runs.
Ooh. Couple of game overs for Edsy and Parrot Dash with about 8 minutes left.
Yeah, ante 8 from Edsy, it looks like, which is, again, he's not going to be happy with it, but is a good score based on what things have gone on. And even ante 6 with it from Parrot Dash. Yeah, this has been a tough seed. That's gonna put a good score on the board. And the problem with that, though, is these players don't know where their opponents are in their own runs. So it's it's demoralizing in the moment, and you're just kind of left second guessing yourself until those scores get posted and you see okay, it wasn't just me that was struggling here. As we see another game over from Shay, who I do believe on ante 5, I think maybe reached an ante 6 themselves.
I think I did see that
at one point as well. And ante 9 appears to be the score for Kai with 7 minutes left.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be beatable even for somebody as fast as Kai.
Yeah, speaking of unfortunate, the ante 9 boss here, the hook discarding random cards, Kai played the pair, and then the 2 cards that were discarded were the only 2 steel cards.
Oh my god. I have lived through that, and it's miserable every time. And that's especially astounding because they have a half joker, so we're probably only playing the 2 cards, and that's quite the snipe.
Game over from Dubs as well.
Oh no.
Kai game over as well. Feinberg's
Zeno,
still going. Ante-10.
Yeah, Zeno coming up just short. It got bloodstoned again, it looks like.
Oh, no.
On the big blind of ante 8. It looks like, just a few chips short. That's very...
Yeah. The best score, 1,000,000 points. But this one round, only 260,000 points.
That's...
so, 1/4 what their best is, and then also, within 15% of the goal here.
Right. That's a certified bloodstone moment. And it looks to be a situation where it's going to come down to a competition between maybe Sizak and Feinberg right now, both putting up good round 1, both here on ante 10, and both looking well suited to clear it, with maybe Feinberg being able to eke out 1 additional ante from that Mr. Bones that maybe Sizak doesn't have.
Skip, take the L, because he's definitely going to be able to score at least close to 4 million. You don't need that much for Mr. Bones to take over, but the issue here is that it is limiting that stencil a little bit by taking up a joker slot. Opting for the bean here to just get a lot of cards in hand. They all are face down, which is a little bit rough, but I guess trying to find some of those steals.
Yeah, it does have
red seal steals that are in their deck.
It does also have 2 red cards that you need to worry about here. So looking to sort by, or I guess if you're already sorting by suit, it doesn't matter. The issue now is potentially, getting to a quarter of the way of like 50 or 60 million, which will be the requirements for ante 11. So that Mr. Bones, may be in a tough spot to be able to offer an additional ante here.
Ante 10 boss for Sizak as well.
Yeah, it looks like
a lot of queens.
And Sizak in a position to potentially pick up another, piece of scoring tech still to make it through that ante 11 choke point. It does have the red seal, does have some glass. We're 1 hanging Chad away from, just being able to breeze through ante 11 and theoretically make a decent showing at ante 12 if you get some red seal on that glass.
Speaking of ante 11,
yeah, ante 11 for Feinberg
made it through. This is going to be the probably the ante to beat. I do think that Sizak will be able to match that and probably has a higher score on the board just by nature of the jokers available. But another second strong showing here from Feinberg in round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 3 minutes still on the clock. Sometimes with the clock, you're having to rush, you're having to skip in those last antes. But here, we know sort of the limitations of the build that we have, so we know we're only getting 1 more ante anyway. So let's take our time and figure out this round.
Yeah, and that's something that you see some things in the chat every now and then, like, oh, for a high ante competition, ante 8, ante 9 isn't that high. The difference here is they've never seen these seeds before. They are racing against the clock. There's added pressure of being up against 10 other people. There's so many more variables at play that your mind operates a lot differently when you're in this environment than as, even if you're going to say do a casual run and give yourself a 45-minute time limit. Murphy's done it. Roffle and Doc are very familiar with these formats. the decisions that you might normally make either fall through the cracks or something else stands out more, and maybe the path that you should have taken kind of gets missed. So there's a lot of things at play here, and these competitors are putting up fantastic runs, especially being in this type of environment. It's not overly sweaty, but there's a lot of things going on at once. And I even remember from last year, Roffle, you sort of lamenting on some of your scores, even though they were fantastically high, but you didn't know what other people were putting up, because, you know, the E11 or E12 that you put up might not be enough if somebody's putting up 16, 17s.
Yeah, until you've actually competed in one of these, you don't really understand what it's like to do so. That, you know, you've got hundreds of eyeballs on you. You've got you know, a clock ticking down at every moment. You've got uncertainty about what everybody else is doing. So it's just it's a lot different than just like turning the lights off and you know, playing the game from your goon cave. As we do see, unfortunately, Sizak coming up a little bit short on the ante-8, or not even ante-8, that was the ante-10 boss.
Ante-10, yeah.
He does have the capability to clear it, and Feinberg also, unfortunately, if that Mr. Bones had survived one round longer, did make it more than a quarter of the way to through the ante-11 boss blind, and could have actually gotten another additional ante, could have touched ante-12 just briefly, but ante-11 now does seem to be the score to beat, and even if somebody does magically teleport there, 17 million also seems to be the score to beat. So really
Feinberg
great
showing
showing.
up today.
I would absolutely
Showing up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, we have about 20 seconds left. More or less, I would assume that people are starting to post their scores. Things are getting locked in. Very tough seed. A couple of people did happen to find some good lines. That Mr. Bones is going to be the play of the seed, I think, for Feinberg, allowing them to get one extra ante ahead of Sizak, who was not far behind. Might not have been able to meet that that scoring requirement that Feinberg put up with 17 million, but fantastic choice and visibility to pick that up early and just use it to their disposal to get one more ante ahead to put them in the first place, at least so far, for Feinberg and the Bean team.
As we do see, Balanos Bear also are now reaching ante-10. That's another, I mean, great showing. Maybe just a little bit behind in terms of score for the tiebreakers against Sizak, but solid showing there from Balanos Bear. You know, as one might expect. And thank you to Anonymous for the huge $500 donation.
Holy.
All right, and there's the time. So it's that does mean that it's time to start crunching the numbers and calculate that score.
That's right. As we do that, our all of our competitors and our host, feel free to stand up, take a break. I mean, I don't need to give you permission. You guys are all adults. You can do whatever the heck you want. But go take a break, get a snack as we get ready for the finale here. What I will say is we are around $35 away from our next goal of Murphy playing Fortnite, $16,965.50. Absolutely fantastic showing, especially with a couple of donations that have come in recently. 500 from Anonymous. Him Luna, $19.99 at work right now. Here's some of my pay for those in need. Thank you so much. Lele Namek, thanks for the event, $10. Looks like HNRTTA, $5. Hope this helps a bit. It absolutely does. And the Dadder Man with 50, Stupid with another $19.99. Thank you guys so much. Like I said before, we still have several other incentives and milestones on the board right now for today's competition as we go into the finale. But when the competition is done, do not touch your dial, because we will have a live concert from Dom Palambi themselves right after the finale, and we send everything off. And if you were here last year, it was a fantastic performance. And if we get up to $19,500, they will premiere a brand new song never heard before other than by their own ears. So stick around for that. And thank you guys so much for all the support that you've given us for this entire event. It's been fantastic.
Nice.
Doc, would you mind?
What's that?
I was gonna say, would you mind vamping for a little bit? Because I do need to step away briefly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thanks, man.
No, I was gonna say Kai's still going here. We could look at that straight flush. No Ouija, so I lost. Maybe Ouija next time. Maybe next seed Ouija. Shay, feel less bad about seeing everyone else have a rough time. I mean, here's the thing, right? Is when you're doing it, it feels bad for you, but you have no idea how everyone else is doing. Everyone else is struggling. I owe a lot to this game. I owe my whole livelihood to this game. I owe a lot to the community. And so I just, in picking these seeds, I wanted to give back to the community. And make sure everyone's having a good time. Skirt, you appreciated that one? I know you would. Skirt, I know you had a ton of fun yesterday.
All right, one second here. Looks like scores have come in.
Aaron is accusing me of picking the most diabolical seed of all time. There's still one more to go.
I mean, you kind of lulled everyone into a false sense of security with the first one, giving players the opportunity to put up, E17, 19, and then just the diabolical run back with, with whatever that nonsense was.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Even when you have more powerful technology, you still have to figure out how to use that in what could be a limited amount of time. I think all of the players did really well with that, actually. There's so many different things that you can do with Perkeo, and I think everyone did a great job.
Absolutely. And everyone did a good job of muscling through that most recent one. What a what a nightmare that one does. I feel like that was just a Doxa, agenda to give Nebula Deck a bad name. That made Nebula Deck look a lot worse than it usually is.
That's the secret, is every seed is interesting. Every seed is difficult. Kai's got, let's see here, we got Chad, we got the photograph. Just sold out of the...
Okay.
Oh, we got 2 Ancients and a Brainstorm.
I think everyone is wishing that you had chosen this seed for for one of these runs. What do you do? Come on, Doc, just find this one.
Well, the good news is that at least next round, they get to pick their own deck.
True.
Oh yeah, they do get to pick their own deck.
True. No
one
can
got
blame.
a lot of good choices though.
Yeah, no one can blame the deck this time.
All right, let's take a look at the leaderboards here. Not that one.
That's a good reminder.
That one. There we go.
Okay.
For round 2, Feinberg in that #1 spot with ante 11. Like I said, that Mr. Bones got them 1 extra ante to put them ahead of Sizak and Belanos Bear. But Sizak with ante 10, Belanos with ante 10, Kai with ante 9, Zano and Edzy both with ante 8 respectively. Shay with 6, as well as Parrot Dash, Unseen Explosion, Gothic Lord, and C-Dubs also with ante 5. Let's see how that's affected the leaderboards. I need to close the other one though. Hold on. Nope. Wrong button. Nope. Hello? There we go. It needs to be updated, but that's mostly on my end.
Well, I think there's I'm not good at math. I just click the funny cards, but I can tell you that Feinberg is going to be in first place. Yes.
Yes.
It doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. That
perfect game so far for Feinberg. I think Bean is wiping their brow in relief right now after their fantastic performance, but a disappointing round that one round, because I do remember Bean saying they just want to put Feinberg in a good position, and Feinberg is taking it and running with it right now with that first place. Joint second between Edsy, Kai, and Sizak, all with 85. Belanos and Zeno with 80. C-Dubs with 75. Shay, Paradash, Gothic Lord, and Unseen Explosion all with 70. So also don't necessarily look at these numbers right now on the left. Focus more on the right side with Feinberg absolutely just running away with it right now with a 15-point lead over the next competitors with Edsy, Kai, and Sizak.
I do want to shout out, though, Sizak is partnered with Young Skirt, who put up a second place showing yesterday, and is, with Sizak performing very well in these first two rounds, is in a good position to take one home for that duo, in addition to, being, despite that one singular round that maybe cost a little bit of score, still did put up a good showing to keep Feinberg in a good spot here. And then, Unseen Explosion, not out of this yet by any stretch of the imagination because of that performance from Orange Aces yesterday. And, could go Young Skirt mode and throw up a first place here and, be back in contention for that duo. So a lot to consider here. Again, this is today's standings, but we do have to consider their teammates from yesterday as well.
Absolutely. I will say, looks like there is a 2x donation match in progress. Oh, well, look who showed up. This is from Murphy, matching up to $250. He can't be here, but I guess his wallet can. Also, $5 from I Heart Doc. But not only do they I Heart Doc, they also say I Heart all of you. And $69.69 from Mukal, double nice. Akiori, $24.99. The Planet Seed was so doo-doo, I had to. Thank you guys so much for the donations. I appreciate it a lot. We all do. And your money is doubled for the next, looks like, hour. And we have hit that $17,000 Murphy Plays Fortnite Chicken Dinner.
Oh, so Murphy did see that he's going to be forced to play some Fortnite here. Uh-oh.
Yeah, and he's still done it. I don't know. Maybe he likes it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe that's just his thing. Maybe he's into being embarrassed on stream by playing
The Murphy
Age.
doth protest too much, methinks. Maybe he actually likes Cloud9.
Ooh, that may be going too far, Chip. I don't. I can't let you besmirch my friend like that. That's
I got a text. Hold on. Yeah, he's not happy about that.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
Whoops. We'll cut that out of the edit. It's fine. Doc, do you want to go ahead and communicate to our players their choices? Let me double check what those are real quick.
Yeah, so it's the same decks from the poll. So remaining, we've got black deck, painted deck, or plasma deck. Completely up to the players.
So you could either go down a Joker slot for some hand size, up a Joker slot for some hands, and what was the last one?
Plasma deck.
Plasma, which people often claim is actually the easiest deck to gold stake. How do you feel about that, Doc? As the
I have heard this claim before.
Yes,
maybe not everyone has the same weaknesses that I do, and maybe I feel differently than other people do. But for me personally, it's not the easiest for me.
I'm right there with you. I think those people have lost their damn minds, or they're just not considering that. Like they're saying that having queued up several straight Nan Inframs on white stake, not realizing the mid game for gold stake on plasma deck can be very, very skill testing and awkward if you're not well versed in making that pivot. Obviously does have the higher upper end threshold, but surviving to get to that point is not easy to do.
Yeah, we do see part of the field here voluntarily choosing the plasma deck here. And like you said, okay, maybe a little bit of a struggle to get to the ante-8 clear, but once you get past that, it is easier to score the very big numbers on the plasma deck. And so maybe that could be what you need to sustain a long game. Though we did see, in the previous seed, players not making it very far past ante 8 or 9 anyway. And so if we saw the same kind of jokers on this seed, the plasma deck offers no benefit there.
Right. If you don't get that early game chip joker, doesn't matter what the late game potential is because you're not making it there.
Yeah, one thing we potentially saw yesterday was scouting on one deck and then switching to a different deck. And so if we're starting on the plasma deck, we can clear those first couple rounds very quickly and then decide if we want to continue with that plan or potentially switch to a different deck.
Right, because the players, in addition to being able to scout the seed, with the choice to be able to choose their deck, can choose a different deck between their different runs. You're not locked into the first deck that you pick. You can, adjust, and maybe we saw some people, maybe making decisions based around that, using Anaglyph to scout some of the skips or scouting some of the skips for Anaglyph for a later run back. So the strategy involved here could be interesting with the options available to these players.
Our competitor Unseen Explosion with the $250 donation, that match has been complete. Thanks so much for the amazing event, Murphy, Doc, and Roffle. And of course, all of the staff and fellow competitors love you all with a little heart at the end. We love you too, Unseen Explosion, and thank you for being a part of this. We are now at 17-5, which means, Doc, you and Zano are going to be getting a little tipsy in Pokemon.
I can't wait to see that.
Same. That's going to be good. All right. Well, casters, are you ready for Doc to drop this final seed?
I'm prepared for the final release.
I've never been more ready. I'm excited to see where this one goes.
All right, this one's going to be Finale 14.
Finale 14.
Of the different finales, this is the 14th.
Like everybody's posting, we'll say go ahead and go. Final round, 45 minutes. At the end of this run, at the end of this round, we will find out who is being scribed forever next to last year's winner, Roffle, on the great Top Banana Award trophy. That will, you're not getting it shipped to you. This is heavy. I can't afford that. It'll stay here. But just know your name will be right there next to Roffle themselves. And who knows, maybe you'll make your way to the booth like Roffle has. But second place will get their name on the You're the Second Best trophy. You can't really see the second best there. Along with Belanos Bear from last year. Great company on either trophy. And even if the names aren't made onto the trophy, everybody here is in great company because they are great company.
Yeah, looking at the seed, I see couple of very interesting things. First of all, we've got some sticker desync as a result of C-Dub's playing on white stake. Somebody's going to want to tell him that. Never mind.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
But what we do see is a phenomenal pairing of jokers for these players. There's an eternal foil business card that's going to allow you to blast through the early rounds while also giving you a money engine. Second joker that I love to see here is a constellation. If you want to make big numbers on Plasma Deck in the late game, you need to have an opportunity to pivot towards something multiplicative. The beauty of Constellation is you can build that over time so that you can transition into that multiplicative option while you're still scoring with your chip engine. So it's like that hologram and things like the scaling times molt joker are actually great in setting up that pivot into times molt that you're going to want to do for these big numbers eventually.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier the Plasma Deck having a sort of easy early game. That ease comes from the Plasma Deck turns your chips into molt. So if you have 50 chips from a foil, that turns into 25 molt. It's a huge head start, but then the Plasma Deck, you do have the higher scoring requirements. On the Plasma Deck, I'm not typically looking for something like Constellation, this molt joker, but maybe that could be something powerful on a different deck if we want to switch decks.
True.
It looks like they're unhappy with that joker selection. I guess they were contemplating whether those were going to have some stickers on them when they saw it in white stake, and we're not happy to see those eternal stickers on that first booster pack.
Yeah, definite maybe jump scare moment, but there's also we see almost every single player going plasma deck. To Doc's point, yes, that gives you the highest potential for the run, but if you can't clear ante-8, it doesn't matter how many, we've said this for every run so far, and it was especially true for the last one. If you can't clear ante-8, it doesn't matter how much potential the build or the deck has. And also, a lot of these players are kind of getting locked into to that Faceless Joker, which is a good econ engine, is good for the extra chips as well. But you are effectively just choosing painted deck in that case, right? Because you're going for the long term of that run, you're going down a Joker slot for the entirety of it.
Without the benefit of the hand size.
Exactly. Feinberg already on ante-3, just blazing through, does find could that be a nat negative hanging Chad? Because that's another.
Looks like it.
Not only does that give you great benefit from the business card, you find yourself a photograph, and that does the pivot to times mults for you.
Oh, yeah.
One of the, having done
that was an ante-2 negative skip, gives you the negative Chad.
Okay.
Yesterday with the ability to restart and sort of more time and limit it to just 8 antes, we saw, a lot of experimentation with the skip tags. If you're trying to go long and maybe you don't want to restart, then maybe you don't want to be as adventurous with the skip tags. But Feinberg here is rewarded and still has plenty of time to restart if they wanted to do a different plan. Zeno, I see some interesting technology, was the only one to take the uncommon skip in ante-1. Typically on the gold stakes, you don't want to take those skips because the Joker that you get could be bad. The Joker could be perishable, rental, eternal in the shop. But Zeno was rewarded with the it was perishable, but it was Midas Mask. Midas Mask is a Joker that you don't care to keep for very long anyway. And then that all of those gold cards then allowing us to find now the golden ticket.
Yeah, Zeno, earlier between rounds was lamenting the lack of econ available in the previous seed. Does immediately find a good source of econ in this seed, and could put, it'd leave him well suited to roll deep into these shops and find other bits of technology that some of these players miss.
Paradash, the only one with a full lineup right now. Looks possibly like a wheel might have hit that ice cream to give it a little bit of a temporary X-Molt. Only dealing with one Eternal right now, but a couple of perishables, and that Cardomancer giving them some forgot the name of the consumable, but those guys that are up there in the top right.
The Hung Man, yeah. The already really solid deck fixing from Parrot Dash here. I talked about Constellation being an opportunity to maybe pivot towards the Times Mult Joker, but deck fixing also can put you in a good position to pick up something, maybe not necessarily like an idol, but a photograph, a family, even just a bloodstone like we saw from the previous round. So, if you fix your deck, you have options available to you that other players might not have.
Looking at Kai real quick, they had $95 going into ante-3. Found the Eternal Hanging Chad. Also, it appears that that Polychrome was from a Hex. They must not have had a lot of Jokers other than that Eternal business card.
That could be,
allowing them to hang on to that.
Yeah, business card, Golden Joker, or Golden Ticket, and Hanging Chad can generate a lot of money in addition to this gold seal that Kai has access to. Just the money printer is fully online, it seems like, for Kai, and still leveraging some of the scoring benefits from that ice cream and the foil on the business card. So also in a good spot. You can see that as a result of that, getting some decent deck fixing as well.
We have
Rick,
Rick
Feinberg.
This is okay. I've talked about the Constellation early. This is another opportunity for some low effort, real time scaling of that Times Molt. Times Molt goes pretty far or quite a bit farther on Plasma Deck because of the fact that it essentially squares your score. So if you can get this Yorick to maybe a ×4, a ×5, that's really more similar to like a ×16 or a ×25. If you're able to get some decent flat mult in front of that, you can really turn the corner into multiplicative scaling a lot faster, and that's what you want to do on Plasma Deck if you want to take this deep.
Looks like Edsy and Belanos have found the negative Chad as well, so they do have that tech afforded to them so far.
Yeah, good
Unseen
scouting.
Explosion. Sorry, I was going to say Unseen Explosion is switching to the black deck here. With the black deck, maybe you don't have the same kind of scoring potential that the Plasma deck does, but you have what could still be very strong potential with that extra Joker slot, if the correct Jokers show up.
Right, and you do get the worse early game econ, but that one extra Joker slot maybe gives you the opportunity to carry an econ Joker a little bit further and a little bit longer in order to maybe roll deeper in the shops and even just do some more efficient scouting as a result of that.
Looks like Feinberg.
Yeah, you mentioned before about these X-Mult Jokers scaling X-Mult. So we had like ×2 duo for Feinberg. We also saw picking up the legendary York. These can be powerful long term, but in the short term, if you have ×2 to some small amount of base mult is not going to get you very far. And so we see Feinberg having to restart here when facing those higher scoring requirements of the Plasma deck.
Chat, do not touch your dials. What you're seeing right now is not an illusion. There are 2 Barons on Sizak's screen. I don't know if there is any collusion behind this, but
how can him be in 2 places at once?
Yeah. I don't see the Showman at all. I don't know how this is possible, but the first sighting of the Baron, at least in this run, which anti-3 Baron could be good, could also not be good, especially on Gold Stake.
It's
but getting that high card level, at least level 2, helps a little bit.
Yeah, I think what's going to be carrying the early game is that banner and that foil business card until the Cartomancer can make that Baron a little bit more useful. Does definitely have, again, that upward potential, Cat, but does need to survive long enough in order to get there, and the foil will help do that for now.
Yeah, we have a special
fun fact. In Ante 2 and Ante 4, if you use Judgment, you will get Baron from either.
Wow. Okay. So we saw.
That's where Sizak is getting it from. So we've got Cartomancer gives us the Judgment, Judgment gives us the Baron.
Okay, that's good to know. We saw that be critical for Bean yesterday in being the sole player to find an idol in a situation where idol can juice your score to an absurd levels. Too far it turned out for Bean, but checking those judgments is an important aspect of scouting.
Ooh, Edsy or Bean might be a little jealous of C-Dubs right now. There is an idol officially on the board for C-Dubs as they're contemplating picking that up. No stickers on it. Brand spanking new, clean.
Yeah, just have to carry it for a bit, but
they do have the Ricky as well.
The Rick can keep you alive to get that deck fixing going. The Cartomancer is there as well, but also has the Chad for a potential re-trigger on it. So this is, maybe one of the better positions we've seen out of any of these competitors so far. C-Dub's very well versed in, Plasma deck gameplay as a result of, doing a lot of Nan-Inf runs. Obviously, the requirements are a little bit different on Gold Stake, but does have that experience, as we do see Parrot Dash also picking up the Chad, unfortunately perishable, with an idol with with my boy Rick there. So also in a pretty good spot to make a similar play.
Yeah, same Jokers. The one difference did not take the Eternal Chad earlier because it was an Eternal rental. And then ending up with the perishable instead. Chad being a common Joker, it can come up later, so maybe we don't need it now. But Feinberg was able to find that negative Chad by taking the negative skip. Players who will restart, might realize that line or they might not. That could be an advantage that Feinberg has trying to catch up here after restarting.
Yeah, and we do see now Kai, our first competitor, swapping over to painted deck here on Ante 1, saying, you know what? Doc has left us with terrible jokers once again. I'm just going to get some extra hand size to get my scoring.
If the jokers are bad, I only need 4 of them.
Exactly.
True.
And once again, a lot of these players are effectively putting themselves on... Oh, no. C-Dub's getting an unfortunate loss, but does have the scouting available to maybe run it back and get a similar setup. But again, a lot of these players are locking themselves into 4 Joker slots with that early foil business card.
Looks like Gothic and Parrot Dash are leading the pack right now. Gothic's sticking with that Cartomancer that I think Parrot Dash did get rid of in place of something else. But Gothic also does not have the Ricky. I don't know if they missed it or it hasn't come up yet. But I think they may have passed it.
Yeah,
but still at least in the lead right now in terms of antes. With an unfortunate game over from Parrot Dash, as I jinxed her. I am so sorry.
Yeah, getting that again. It's that as we see Edsy and Ante 5 also picking up that Yorick. It is again, if you want to get the highest ante, you do have to make that pivot from chips to molt. But that is a very, very difficult line to toe in order to make that happen. Something interesting that we're seeing specifically from Sizak right now is does still have that Baron going here on ante 3. Also picked up a Shoot the Moon Eternally to pair alongside it. The problem with an early Baron is that you just simply have no flat molt to multiply. So again, if you're multiplying 1 by 1.5, even if you're doing that a couple times, that's not a very big number. If you put a Shoot the Moon in front of that and you put your queens before, you start with a better foundation. So if you do have, you know, you have 1 king or 1 queen and a couple kings, you're actually getting some decent, you know, movement from that Baron that you wouldn't otherwise get just based on your hand levels.
Interesting approach from Unseen Explosion. Going into ante 4, they're rocking the dagger. Looks like they're feeding the dagger a little bit, making some sacrifices to see how far that they can get into these antes with black deck. Doc, thoughts on making some sacrifices to prolong this run?
I think it's great. I think, you know, if you need scaling plus molt on the dagger, that's going to be maybe not as powerful on the plasma deck, but on the black deck with the extra Joker slot is a great pickup. You know, one challenge with the plasma deck, okay, it's going to turn, if you have more chips, it'll turn that into molt, more molt, it'll turn that into chips. If you look at something like the bonus cards give you 30 chips and the molt cards give you 4 molt, odd, Todd, even, Steven, it's this 30-to-4 ratio. In order for your molt to be even on par with your chips, you need at least 7 or 8 times molt, and that can be difficult to get times 8 molt on any seed. And then in order for your molt to not just be equal, but to actually meaningfully overtake, now we're looking at, you know, times 15 molt. And where are we getting this times 15 molt from? Maybe we aren't, and so maybe we do the dagger instead.
Ooh, yeah, sacrificing the Astronomer for the Ricky. Interesting choice. I know that they had a lot to weigh against because it could have been a variety of different things. But that does lose a little bit of power for that constellation to just be able to eat for free at the buffet, so to speak, in the shop by getting rid of that that benefit from that util Joker.
Yeah, I was just about to shout out the Astronomer constellation tech as well. The one, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad look here. Maybe some pretty good recognition from Unseen here. The limiting factor for maybe getting Astronomer value isn't necessarily, you know, having that at your disposal, but like the rerolls are what really start to add up, and the rerolls get expensive, and that's where your money gets sunk into. And you know, already having decent econ to be able to probably buy out the shops that are there before the planets that are there before the rerolls, and just saying, you know what, I'm just going to leverage my money to just buy out those options, and then so I don't need the Astronomer quite as much. And I do believe we have Parrot Dash off of Plasma deck as well now. So initially everybody going in hard on the Plasma deck run because that has the most upward potential. But you know, Parrot Dash here already getting off to a good start. Unseen Explosion on ante 5 with Black Deck. Kai on ante 3 with Painted Deck. Doing a much better job
of Black Deck as well.
Yeah, all of these players that are swapping off doing a much better job of clearing these mid-game antes where things get really tough on Plasma Deck. So, you know, it's not just a matter of, you know, Plasma Deck has the most potential, so it's an auto pick. Strategically swapping decks, and Edzi now, speaking of, has Idol, has Yorick, and has a blueprint along. Oh, this is the benefit of all of that money. Also finding that negative hanging Chad that we saw from Feinberg early. You know, as I'm saying that these players getting rewarded for moving off a Plasma Deck, Edzi in a phenomenal position if he's able to turn the corner here with this Joker roster on Plasma.
Yeah, what we're saying is you don't get to see these pieces. You don't get to see this blueprint, you know, until you get to ante 5. And the way that you get there is if you are going to do the Plasma Deck, it's going to take some clever piloting for that early game, and then you are rewarded for doing that hard work.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that, you know, it may be the case that that the person at the top of the leaderboard ends up being running Plasma Deck, but some of these, you know, some of these other top 5 positions could be snatched up by folks that are maybe taking a more conservative route with the non-Plasma Deck runs just to get, you know, that ante 8 or through 10 clear that that has already, you know, been shown to be a good score for some of these seeds.
These are good jokers that are good on any deck, and if you are playing on the Black Deck with that extra joker slot, you can do you not just more scoring, but potentially have more room for value generators.
Interesting decision coming up for Feinberg with the Idol showing up. Obviously, they're going to pick that one up. It seems like because fantastic score, I guess, as well as re-triggering here. Doc, you mentioned before that Midas Mask golden ticket combination. Zeno just got rid of the Midas Mask. Most of their deck is gold cards right now. They're able to make a lot of money. And they've also picked up the throwback. That econ that was there, or that wasn't there last time, seems to be there for Zeno now. And he's looking to capitalize on that with that limited time that they have on that golden ticket.
Critical moment here for Edzi, if you want to jump in on him. I think if he's able to clear this blind right now, just death to 9 to play this full house, because that 9 of hearts is what the Idol is on. Look at that, 13 million already. That's the benefit of going Molt on this deck. Has some really solid deck construction as a result of those gold seals with the Hanging Chad and the golden ticket and the business card. So there's a lot of money coming out of Edzi's end right now, and that's going to allow him to find the tools that he needs to make the pivot towards this Idol, towards this you know, times Molt gameplay.
Speaking of money coming out, Callie has a $500 match right now. Your donations are doubled. Thank you so much, Callie. Sorry, Doc, go ahead.
Oh no, yeah, thank you, Callie. Yeah, I was gonna say using the death card to copy the 9 of hearts is probably not the ideal situation. That's not something that you want to be doing long term. You'd rather copy the red seals instead, but very clever piloting from Edzi, you know, able to get out of that sticky situation. The boss that requires you can only play one type of hand, so you only get one shot at it.
Right. Right, and especially at this stage in the run, these ante 6 through 8 is the tough point to get your build online, especially when you're trying to get that Yorick going, which eventually could start carrying the run while you start building towards the Idol. And unfortunately, the man himself, the Baron, the myth, the legend, Sizak did not find the opportunity to turn that corner with that Baron. Very, very difficult line to toe once again. Had the Shoot the Moon for support, I believe, picked up the Yorick for a bit of support as well. But again, it's those ante 5 through 8 on Plasma Deck that really become challenging for setting up your build long term. As we do see Feinberg here kind of in that same spot that we saw from Edzi earlier, looking to find a way through this.
Yeah, blueprint for Feinberg as well. We see blueprint picked up here for Kai.
Yeah, Kai having to make a difficult decision though, because is on the painted deck and has to roll past a blueprint, which is with 2
painted
eternal
deck,
jokers.
no blueprint, that's rough.
Yeah, that is going to be an immediate run back. But
Okay,
Kai
he's got
is,
the plan now. Black deck, extra joker slot.
right. Kai is a very fast player that we've seen many times. Now has that information of where that blueprint is and can make a push for it.
Yeah, about halftime here, 22 minutes left.
Ooh, instead opts for a hanging or a photo chat, gets a little bit more information before running it right back.
There's an ante-6 mime. Someone knowing that the Baron is available might want that.
That's true.
Ante-6 mime for Edzy screen.
Yeah, we do, I believe, only have seen one player get that that Baron knowledge in the form of Sizak, who grabs it again. If he can make it to ante-6, that's
Paradash also has it picked up right now as well, but they are playing, which is interesting. She's on painted deck right now, so a lot of, if we can get some more kings in that deck, that could be very powerful. If we can turn them into some steals with that extra hand size, it goes a long way for Baron.
True.
And that is one of the challenges of the Baron, is the deck building. Baron only cares about kings, and even if you do have the kings, Baron doesn't necessarily do enough on its own. You rely on the mime to retrigger it, you rely on those red seals to retrigger it. And so on the gold stake, we have access to fewer resources, potentially less money, and then also just, we're not able to open as many tarot cards or have room for jokers that generate those tarot cards.
Unfortunate game over for Shay, as they are less than 2,500 points away from clearing the small blind in ante 5. Not happy with that. Still a decent amount of time to recover with 20 minutes left, but would need to put on a showcase speed run to make it to some of other competitors, with Edzy on ante 6, Unseen Explosion with a very strong build in ante 7. Belanos Bear has found the tech for the negative chat again, is making their way on Plasma deck in ante 4.
Yeah, something.
But a lot of room here.
Yeah, something to consider as we get, beyond the halfway point right now. We've talked a lot about how Plasma deck has the most upward potential. If you're forced to run it back too many times because you're getting that information to figure out how to clear those mid-game antes, it doesn't matter what your upward potential is if you don't have the time to get there, right? So aside from someone like Edzy, who is still, I believe, on one of the early runs, and Feinberg, who are both of these players at ante 6, maybe Zeno as well, who's on ante 4 here. It doesn't matter what your upward limit is if you just don't have the time to get there because it took you too many attempts to get through to those late game antes.
Not just scoring limitations, but if you are using the Chad to retrigger the golden ticket, and maybe you've got a blueprint involved, all of that money generation is taking a lot of extra time, and so you have a very powerful run, but you are not reaching those higher antes.
Right. As we see Edzy having to run it back there despite having a photo Chad with the York, that is catastrophic for brutal. Exactly the reason that Doc just said. And even in the case of Sizak here, is on ante 4, so is a little bit ahead of some of these players having to restart now. But if Sizak finds that mime, which will likely happen if he's able to survive a little bit further than last time. I think it was an ante 6 or 7 mime, so only a little bit further to go. That takes a lot of time to resolve hands.
There could be an advantage to playing on the black deck instead of the plasma deck, where the scoring is less complicated and more familiar.
Exactly.
I think you can play faster.
I think
look at Unseen Explosion right now. Has the looks inside photo Chad with the Brainstorm, Ricky, and the Idol.
Yep.
It only needs to hit good one time for that Idol to put up a decent score, but that photo Chad, especially with a couple red seals, looks like they have, and a lot of face cards, they're doing all right.
Now hearts
in ante 7.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, if we want to go long, these are the jokers we want. This is the lineup we want.
More and more for a lot of these players.
193 million.
Oh, as we see Feinberg now picking up that same Brainstorm. Wow.
Add to the blueprint.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that's
Now it's the decision of what to get rid of.
that.
X4
I mean,
Molt or the idol.
I'm gonna be honest here. It could be the idol.
That's tough. Oh,
Getting rid of the 4X and just going all in on the Ricky. Saying,
I mean,
you know what?
it's
I'll let my discards do the talking.
yeah, and just choosing. You know what? Constellation is obviously a good scaling times molt joker, but it costs just too much. I can use that money to set up the idol, which will give me better long-term potential. So if this works out, and you know, Feinberg is Bean's teammate. As Bean said, every seed is an idol seed. So
no, Zeno.
oh,
Ante 5 loss in the small blind, having to run it back with 16 minutes left.
that's
Absolutely can do it, but is not happy with that performance.
yeah. I think more and more, it's starting to look like for everybody that is not Feinberg right now,
Just running away.
Plasma Deck is a trap.
Unseen is close behind. Unseen is an Ante 8 right
it's a
now.
trap. Who would have laid that trap? That would be a
Who
rude thing
would
to
have
do.
exactly? I think that the players that pivoted off of Plasma Deck, like Unseen Explosion, I think the first one to do it. Good recognition from Unseen. We also saw Kai, Parrot Dash, the speedrunners, not unsurprisingly, pivot off of Plasma Deck very quickly. I think that is giving them the best opportunity to, you know, if Feinberg's able to keep the momentum going that's been present this entire day of runs, those players are in a much better position than the people that are stubbornly running back Plasma Deck to pick up second place.
Now, I did see that the Ante 8 boss coming up is kind of brutal, at least if you're an Idol fan, because the Verdant Leaf is coming up for Unseen Explosion, and I think the least valuable thing to them right now would probably be that Idol, depending on what their deck looks like. If not, we might be saying goodbye to Looks Inside, at least half of Photo Chat. Oh, just found the Sock and Buskin.
Oof.
Contemplating getting rid of the
this
Ricky and
is-
going full into Photo?
This is so tough. And yeah, I mean, unfortunately,
Someone's got to go.
yeah, something's got to go for the boss blind is the problem with this play, but does give you the best like upward potential of this. And I guess Feinberg's going to have to make a similar very difficult decision. Could theoretically brute force through the boss just by, you know, double copying that that Yorick. Maybe can get away with not selling a Joker just because of how reliant or how capable his build is of just you leveraging that scaling Yorick.
Yeah, with the exception of Shay and Bear, we see most people have the eternal business card from the first shot. As a foil, you know, giving you a head start on the Plasma Deck, and then also, you know, as a value generator, able to re-trigger with the Chad. But, you know, now we're running into this issue where we don't have enough Joker slots. We have to give up some pretty important, pretty meaningful pieces here. Zeno did find the line with the skipping to get the Midas Mask that other people didn't see, was able to find a line that doesn't involve taking that Eternal. Zeno could have the potential here if he's able to play fast enough, but every time we restart, we are losing efficiency. That's another loss right now for Zeno already.
Yeah, good decision though from Zeno, I think, as well as C-Dubs, who's blasted through to Ante 7 to swap off of that Plasma Deck. That's one that I missed from C-Dubs that did again find that early recognition to move away from the atypical scoring that you're maybe used to, or in the win playing on Plasma Deck. And we see Unseen now making that. He had the sacrificial dagger earlier. He's got to make a tough sacrifice now as well. I think with the idol on 8 of spades, yeah, it's got to be the idol here. Unfortunately, it feels horrendous, but I think it's got to be the play.
They're contemplating between, it looks like, the Buskin and the idol, but it's got to, it's either you die here, or maybe you can find it again later in Ante 9, because a decent amount of money with $59 should be okay with re-triggering those faces so many times with Photo Chat and Brainstorm.
Yeah, another
definitely cannot do it without selling something.
Yeah, hovering over the rental sock, you said that Idol can come back. Sock can come back too. Sock's not adding that much to the score right now compared to just copying the photo with the photo Chad pickup. So you also grab yourself a Chaos the Clown here, which is a good pickup for rolling deeper in those shops. I like this. It's kind of a midway play between the absolute top end potential and the in between. And Feinberg
just brute forced it.
Just again, phenomenal game recognition. Like, a lot of inexperienced players will freak out when they see the Verdant Leaf. My cards don't score. What do I do? Feinberg knows. No, I know where my scoring is coming from. It's coming from my hand levels, and most importantly, from this Yorick just being able to blast through. That is which is probably around 5x right now. If Unseen's was any indication, with theirs being around 4x when they sold it early in Ante 8. So this could be 4 or 5x being duplicated twice. Not too shabby from Feinberg.
Yeah, not going to be as powerful as the photograph and the chat and that re-triggering repeatable times 2. But if we have the blueprint and the brainstorm able to copy Yorick, that is comparable. Times 5 and then times 5 again and again.
You're right. Especially like this is again, I think, how you fully leverage the plasma deck benefit. It's probably easier to get by with scoring with your typical Joker setup on other builds to set up that idol. But if you can get something like this duplicated times molt Joker, going back to last season or last year of this event, this is exactly how I won, is by going on plasma deck and just throwing hands with nothing but the times molt Jokers. I think there's a Canio, I think there's a Yorick in that seed, and just using those tools instead of getting too cute with the things like the idle retriggers because of the scoring benefit of plasma deck. Feinberg's going to be in the E territory in no time.
Buckle up, Kai's found the line. Picked up the brainstorm, as the photo chat, still has the Ricky as well. Moving into Ante 8, or moving halfway through Ante 7 right now with 10 minutes left. Don't count Kai out. They are a speed running fiend.
He is right there with the rest of them. Now Ante 8 for a pair dash as well.
Yeah, it has the only Cavendish that we've seen, I think, in the lineup so far. You always trust in the banana every single time.
Ante 9 here from C-Dubs, choosing, I believe, to sell out of the photograph instead of the Sock and Buskin that we saw from Unseen Explosion. So does have the potential, if the deck building is there, to maybe get a little bit further, taking a riskier line in order to have a bit more upside to offset the fact that like Unseen, C-Dubs did swap over to black deck.
Belanos and Edsy still have some time still with and Edsy just picking up the blueprint right now. Has gotten back from that unfortunate loss. Has the idol and the negative Chad. That blueprint's going to go a long way. And Belanos over here also has a perishable blueprint, but does have the photo Chad technology, picking up that mime as well as a Joker stencil here in Ante 6.
Yeah, in
Ante 6, no idol for Bear. Bear saw it just like everyone else saw it and decided, okay, well, that's too much work, or maybe I'm not able to do that with the limited resources that we have on Gold Stake. And so we're going to do something safer. We're going to do something easier.
Oh, it looks like Zano's deciding to run it back, or might be calling it. Went back to the main menu with 8 minutes left. Looks like Shay has also went ahead and called it with 8 minutes left here. These seeds it's not easy, especially when you get hit with a lot of game overs and having to restart. The mental toll that takes, especially in a competition like that, is a lot. And sometimes it's whether you just decide to cut your losses or try to put something together back in 8 minutes. And I don't blame anybody for any decisions that they make. It's all a matter of what's best for them at the time. But we still have.
I could not complete a run in 8 minutes.
No, absolutely not.
No, we do see Sizak though going back to the well with this this Shoot the Moon Baron setup that I do think will be
with the painted deck too. Extra hand size.
With the painted deck, and with that foil foil business card will be a lot easier to get online on not only painted deck because of the hand size, but because of the typical scoring function from just baseline Balatro. So good recognition there. A Parrot Dash completing ante 8, reaching ante 9, matching C-dubs right now. We see Unseen Explosion on ante 10, putting up a great showing after maybe a bit of a rough start to the first couple rounds. Really cooking here on what
they said they were nervous. They saw how good Orange Aces did and didn't want to let them down, but they're showing out great in this final round here with ante 10, dropping a few million, keeping up with Feinberg right now. I think those two are the top contention right now, with Kai not far behind, dropping 7 million in ante 9. Made up a lot of ground from that loss earlier. Yeah,
ante 11 for Feinberg. Really going to be a matter of a tough decision right now between the Idol, I think, and the Photograph. Possibly even the Yorick with the with the potential of the Blueprint Brainstorm. It could be time to say goodbye to one of those good friends of ours that has been part of this.
That's an 8x Ricky. Holy.
It's an 8x Ricky, but Photograph is also 8x.
Especially with those retriggers.
And
that's tough.
It is tough because it really depends on how good your deck construction is here, if you can afford to make that move.
Discarded the Rick. The thing that gave it power is also what killed it.
Yeah, I mean,
passing on Invisible Joker, recognizing that we've got full slots, we've got too many Eternals that we can't accidentally bump into. I think this is going to be the final build for Feinberg.
I think so too, and you see that immediate recognition of where the Blueprint and Brainstorm goes. You cannot waste any time right now, mathing it out. Just that is pure muscle memory, just knowing right where to put it and send the hand. Again, with 5 minutes left, I don't think that anything but the timer is going to be limiting for some of these players, including, Unseen Explosion. As we do see, unfortunately, as I'm saying that, C-dubs did reach his peak, it seems. Maybe didn't quite draw the hand. I think he was a little bit more reliant on that idle hitting than someone like Unseen Explosion here, who had a very similar build going through ante 8. As we see,
ante 9 not too shabby for this right now.
Yeah,
we're only seeing a few people in the 10s and 11s, so 9 is still relatively middle of the pack, which is not a bad showing for C-dubs.
Absolutely, I think it's top half for sure. And Unseen Explosion here hitting 750 or so million going into ante 12, where you're going to need a billion. Very close here to that requirement that to get maybe another ante out of this, picking up both Death and a Chariot to maybe make that a bit easier.
The Idol is hit for Feinberg. E16, if they could just make it through farther than Unseen Explosion, I don't think, especially with Plasma scoring, that's going to be passed. That's an insane score for them in Gold Stake right now in Plasma.
I think it may be time to start looking at going multiplayer mode, and just as soon as that Idol hits, skipping to the boss blind to clear an extra ante. It would not surprise me if Feinberg recognizes that immediately, given the earlier recognition of things like the Mr. Bones to eke out that one additional ante. I think I don't know if there's some practice with Bean, but it seems very clear that Feinberg knows the format and knows how to play towards it.
Kai coming up through ante 11 right now as well, putting up a few 100 million, it looked like.
Yeah,
and Bears now going into ante 9 with a 98 million score right there in the Verdant.
Right, matching Edsy, who both of these players, both Bear and Edsy, kind of at the buzzer, really getting a run together and getting it off the ground, which, as we saw on these Plasma Deck runs for these Plasma Deck runners, was not easy to do. This has, been a difficult Plasma Deck seed to get online for anyone whose name isn't Feinberg. I think the early recognition that Feinberg had to find that negative hanging Chad is probably a big portion of why they're in the spot right now.
Absolutely. 2.4
yeah, that negative
billion
is the difference. We have Unseen Explosion and Kai on the black deck. They have the same number of jokers because their Chad is not negative, but they are neck and neck with Feinberg here in the same ante. Yeah, we saw what would be the best score from Feinberg when they got the idle hit, when they played the full 5-of-a-kind queens. They were able to get, you know, his E12, I think it was. But then with just the 4-of-a-kind queens here, it was 500 million before without the glass card. And so sort of still comparable to what Unseen Explosion and Kai have been putting out. But there with the glass card, able to get E12 again.
Very strong here at the end. Looks like Feinberg has made their way into ante 13. Unseen Explosion and Kai need to move a little bit.
Yeah, here's that turbo
the final
skip.
minute approaching.
Right, and here's that turbo skip game plan from Feinberg here. Does still need to hit 4-of-a-kind though. Really good. Wow. Really good Joker movement to avoid additional re-triggers unnecessarily. Really keeping a good eye on that clock, but does need to hit a 4-of-a-kind in order to have a good starting point to multiply from.
E11 there for Unseen Explosion. We mentioned, okay, you're on the plasma deck, your molt gets multiplied by itself. It's kind of like your scores are squared. It's not exactly. You know, Unseen Explosion here, E11 is only a ×10 away from E12 with the black deck instead of the plasma deck.
Yeah, really, really impressive showing there as well. Again, you talked about some of these players within the run having the potential to get demoralized. It would have been very easy for Unseen to just kind of check out after, you know, not having the best performance that they could on runs 1 and 2, but really, really putting up a strong showing. You know, maybe go in young skirt mode, like I said, and and being able to pick up a good scoring here on the final round.
Yeah, I think that might be an idle miss for Unseen Explosion, and so we don't have the same scoring potential as before. That's going to be it for Unseen Explosion.
Yeah, with
and
27
also for Kai.
Same for Feinberg.
Yeah, well, this will be the final hand, but it should be a successful hand for Feinberg here as, yep, touching ante 15. Unbelievable. Just an unreal performance for the day for Feinberg. You know, again, Bean was not lying when he said all he wanted to do was put Feinberg in a good spot. Unfortunately, not enough time here and probably not enough score anyway. But yeah, but phenomenal showing from all the players here today, but Feinberg in particular really putting on a clinic within this format.
I think that's a sweep for Feinberg if my mental math is right so far.
That may be
game.
Yeah. That is a tag team throwdown first. Just
now
clean sweep of all 3 rounds. Unbelievable.
The funny part is, and like we still don't know the final scores yet, obviously, of the end here, but there is a possible tiebreaker scenario that we might need to figure out, but we did not anticipate possibly a perfect game from our competitors with so many strong Balatro players in this competition. We might not need the tiebreaker scenario, but we'll have to wait for the scores to find out on that. Fantastic performance. E11 ante 13 from Unseen Explosion, ante 12 825 million from Kai. Looks like
Edzy
made it into ante 12 with a 1.4 bill.
Yeah, Edzy on ante 13 as well. Really, really good recovery from Edzy here to
absolutely.
Potentially, like with maybe a little bit more time, there's a world where he could have cleared and made it to ante 14. So, you know, and then we saw again good recoveries from both Kai and Parrot Dash as well. Really blasting through after swapping off a plasma. I think that was a good choice for a lot of these folks. You know, we saw Unseen maybe the first person to recognize plasma deck is not the best path through for me. So why not just start cruising with, you know, made black deck look easy, quite frankly. A lot of these players did. And then similarly with Sizak, able to really stick with it, was maybe one of 2 players that saw the Baron and, you know, did a good job of making use of it with the Shoot the Moon and eventually, you know, leveraging painted deck to get that extra hand size and get that build off the ground, which was just so difficult to do on Plasma.
All right, as we await our scores, chat, this event does not happen without every single person that you see on the screen right here, both casting and performing. Can we get some claps in every single chat that's watching or listening for every single one of these people that that joined us? And claps for yourself, because we are at $18,000 right now. Y'all, this has been insane. Like, honestly, like I said, this doesn't happen without people giving up hours of their day. A lot of these people are full-time streamers, so they are sacrificing their livelihood for a couple hours to raise money for a great cause. And it's just an absolute blessing to be in the presence with all these people. Fantastic showing from all of our competitors. Feinberg crushing it for the gold stake. Orange Aces crushing it for the white stake warriors. Some amazing moves and decision making from all of our competitors, and just a absolutely fantastic show. And I could not be more proud of everybody involved with this. Thank you all so much. Yeah, I'll keep saying it, but the Balatro community is undefeated.
Yeah, big thanks to the folks behind the scenes too. Not just the folks on camera, but the folks who are recording the scores manually right now, calculating the standings. We will have those shortly.
Yeah. Also, maybe less seen mods in chat as well. We're here casting, we're yapping with each other, having a harder time maybe keeping an eye on chat, and mods are doing a great job across all of the channels, keeping people honest, keeping people kind, because this is an event for charity, and we really do appreciate that. And then finally, again, I know he donated earlier, so he's probably listening, but I mentioned it yesterday, the amount of legwork that Murphy put into this is just unbelievable. The amount of effort, over the course of quite literally months is astounding. So this event does not happen, does not exist without Murphy. And so, like, please, next time you interact with Murphy, give him a big thank you.
Next time I see him, I'm going to give him a big punch in the arm. All right. I think we have our round 3 leaderboards in. I might just need to refresh them a little bit. These aren't it. Hold on. I gotta go over to this. There we go. I mean, unsurprisingly, I think we've all sort of like said this throughout the run. Feinberg running away with it. Ante 15, dropping E16, miles ahead of the next highest score. I know it may only look like 5 from 11 to 16, but it is a lot bigger than that. Trust me. With Edsy in second place, an amazing recovery from Edsy with that early loss, but just goes to show you he is an absolute shark. His chat may call him Throwsy sometime, but he threw to get right back on top at second place, putting out a great showing for him and Dom Palambi. Unseen Explosion absolutely also cooking with Ante 13 as well, 2.5, E11. Kai coming back. Also had a lot of ground to recover as well with Ante 12. Belanos Bear, another shark in this competition with Ante 11, along with Parrot Dash, which is absolutely fantastic performance from Parrot Dash all around today. C-Dubs with Ante 9, Sizak Ante 8, Zano Gothic and Shay with Ante 5. Claps to all these competitors, but we do have a top spot, and I think now we're just waiting on the final team leaderboard. But before we do that, chat, we still have a $500 match for the next 10 minutes from Cali. We are at $18,294. We are $1,800-ish away from our $20,000 goal to fund 5 go-karts for Gamers Outreach. The show's not over yet. We're going to be having a live performance from Dom Palambi here soon. So stick around for that. If anybody else needs to go, that's totally fine. But we still have entertainment as we continue to raise funds for Gamers Outreach. But let's go ahead and look at our final leaderboards, at least for the overall standings for the Mult division, and then we will show the overall leaderboards for the team and crown our champion. I just got to go back in here and refresh this 1 second.
Yeah, I can, once again, if you need help, I can do the math for first place.
Well, the math is in.
Okay,
Feinberg,
never mind.
With a sweep 50-point perfect score for all 3 rounds. Edsy coming in second with 130 points. Kai CTV 125 points. Belanos Bear tied with Sizak for 120. Unseen Explosion with 115 along with Zano. C-Dubs and Pear Dash tied with 110, and Shay and Gothic Lord with 105.
Yeah, great showing from
amazing performance
from top to bottom. The claps in chat for all of our competitors today. We saw a lot of great recoveries, not only within each round, as we saw, you know, we mentioned at the end of the last round in particular, and even with the Nebula deck runs, but also great recoveries from round to round for a lot of these players. Again, Unseen Explosion, you know, blasting through on this last round, and you know, really making up some ground from those first 2 rounds. You know, we saw a lot of players placing consistently here, including Kai, obviously Belanos, Edzi coming in second. No surprise there, but you know, we saw Sizak as well playing consistently well and really doing good service to these players' teammates that put up strong showings yesterday as well. So congratulations to all of the competitors. Everyone did a phenomenal job, and you know, we really appreciate their time today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, thank you for being here, but then also, you know, like you said, congratulations on making it through with your dignity intact.
Doc, you had
This was
some
a tough
devious
day.
seeds. You had some devious seeds, man, which I expected. I'm glad I'm not in the competing spot of this, and I just get to watch from the comfort of the booth here.
Yeah, my job was much easier this year around than it was last year with what Doc had cooking up this whole time.
All right, chat. Are we ready for the final team scores? Let's get a wall of emotes as a drum roll as we unveil the winners. I would like Feinberg, if you have some time to chat for winning the gold stake portion of this. Absolutely would love to have you in the booth, and whoever the winning team is, we'd love to have you in the booth for a quick interview as well. But let's see who's taking home the top banana. Well, you're not taking it home, it's staying here, but theoretically you're taking it home. The top banana trophy, and who's going to be taking home, like I said, not taking it home, the second best. You can't read the text here, but it's on there, believe me, along with your names inscribed on both of them for eternity in the back of Murphy's studio. So hopefully this works. And our winners of the very first Balatro Tag Team Throwdown is... Hold on. Wait a minute. Hold on. Technical difficulties.
Ricky and Bear! Let's go!
Oh, 1 sec. Hold on. I gotta refresh it. Wait a minute. This is my fault. I'm panicking. Oh, this is it. Open. There we go. Okay. All right. In first place, Turtle Bean and Feinberg. Bean is just like, oh, thank God. With 270 points, that perfect performance in all 3 rounds for Gold Stake paid dividends for the Beanenberg team. Absolutely fantastic performance, 270 points. In second place, Bricky and Belanos Bear. Like I said, Belanos Bear is a shark in the competition, eats nails for breakfast in terms of their Balatro runs that they do for fun on their live stream. 255 points. We do have a 3-way tie for third with Dom Palambi and Edzi TTV at 250, Young Skirt and Sizak at 250, Orange Aces and Unseen Explosion at 250 as well, followed by Mouth and Kai CTV at 245, Nandre and Zano at 235, Fur and Shay at 230, Vagabond Balatro and Pear Dash at 225, Deep Stack Dave and C-Dubs at 220, and Nito and Gothic Lord at 210 points. Congratulations to everyone involved with this. Doesn't matter what place you won, whether it was first or 11th. The winners today are the kids that are going to benefit from all the money that we raised for Gamers Outreach. It is not done yet, but thank you all so much. And congratulations to Bean and Feinberg for that first place victory.
Yeah, congrats to Bean and Berg for sure, but congrats to everybody because like the number that really matters is the one on the top left, and every one of you that participated in this event contributed to the amount raised over the course of these 2 days. So obviously huge congrats to Bean and Berg, as well as Bricky and Bear for that that second place finish. But everybody should be very proud of themselves. I want to reiterate how appreciative we all are for your time in order to make this event happen.
Yeah, we mentioned it yesterday. Big thanks, of course, to the folks who donated themselves, but also just big thanks for spreading the word. And so for the folks who did participate in the event both yesterday and today, it's not just the gameplay and putting on an interesting show for everyone, but them bringing in their audiences and them boosting the signal so that we could raise all of this money for Gamers Outreach.
As we get
Kai, thank you for the Drizzle, thank you for the $1,000 donation. Callie, thank you for the $500.
I believe that's 5 full go-karts.
We're a little bit shy, but the day's not over yet. But it will be 5 full go-karts if I have to do it myself. Thank you guys so much. This is insane. Well, I won't get too sentimental just yet. Let's bring in our winners with Bean and Feinberg for a quick podium interview. Congratulations, you two. Absolutely insane performance.
Yeah, for sure. Feinberg clutched it up.
That was not just a
Did
performance.
he now?
That was a clinic today. That was unreal. Some of the small things were really impressive, like taking the Mr. Bones, like knowing how long to hang on to those cryptids. Just every single round there was, really, really intricate decisions that like demonstrated that you knew what you were doing, not only with the game but also with the format.
Yeah, throttling the cryptids on the per KO, that's advanced tech. That was really impressive. I really liked in the very last minute of the last round, the idol misses, and for some that, that's the end of the story. But sort of like, okay, selling out of the idol and then picking up, okay, we can replace it with the seltzer, we can use the glass cards that we have, and picking up an extra ante. Completely unnecessary, we're already way ahead of the competition, but really cool move there at the very end.
Yeah, I mean, I watch a lot of you guys, and I have C++ on my phone. I bought the game like when it came out, and it was just like I couldn't get invested in it because Minecraft's my main game, and it's like I knew Balatro was going to be a game that's like this is going to ruin my life because I'm going to play it for like 10 hours a day, and then I'm not going to be able to do my actual job. And it's like I can't really stream anything other than Minecraft. Like you can't like switch if you're not a variety person. So I didn't play Balatro for like 8 months, but then I kept getting your guys' videos in my YouTube recommended. I'm like, damn, this game is like really fun. Like I should try to not ruin my life a little bit. I don't know. And then I started playing multiplayer in the last like month or two since this got like announced to us internally. I was like, oh, this would be a good warm up for like kind of similar format. I've played a lot of Balatro. It's a fun game. And watching you guys has helped a lot with the micro decisions and stuff.
Did you do any?
Yeah,
go ahead.
I think the multiplayer experience really helped with, like you were saying, Doc, adapting, knowing, oh, your idol missed, but in multiplayer, you always have to know what your biggest number is and how to get there. And that's just something you pick up that intuition and how to adapt. And the boss blind's just like a PvP blind, and he knows how to get there.
Yeah, I guess I would ask the two of you sort of what's the main difference, potentially strategy, potentially mentality. What's the main difference between what is in multiplayer, and then here we had actually 2 fundamentally different formats, trying to get the limited ante high score versus trying to get the high ante on gold stake.
I mean, Bean plays a lot more multiplayer, but it doesn't like, I don't know. I mean, multiplayer is mostly white stake. People just play white stake because it's more fun. So gold stake is different. It's the mentality today more was like, how do I not die at that first, like in the first few antes? Like you probably wouldn't, or there'd be more consideration to not take like the eternal business card in this last seed if you're playing multiplayer, because you think like 5 boss blinds down the line or like 5 PvPs down the line, and that's just like a slot that isn't being used for like a retrigger or another X mult or something. And so I was sort of just more thinking how to stay alive through the first few and sort of make it work, because gold stake is just so hard, especially with the deck selection seed 2 and 3. Like Nebula deck is crazy. That's Nebula deck is so crazy.
You can blame Chad on that one. They donated towards that one. I mean, we
okay.
might have picked it too, but we decided to leave the fate in the hat and the hands of the donators on that one.
It's more fun than green deck, I'll say that. Your brain doesn't have to think as hard with the timer. But I don't know, I just was playing more to stay alive, whereas in multiplayer I feel like you can greed like way more because all you need is to like be a couple rerolls ahead and you hit something and then you're just fully winning. And it doesn't matter how low you score in the PvPs while you're getting there. But in Gold Stake, like if you die, you die. So I was just sort of trying to stay alive in the last 2 games and things just kind of fell into place with the copy jokers and everything at the end.
Yeah, on Gold Stick with the
Fantastic
higher scoring
performance.
requirements, and potentially you have perishable jokers, rental jokers. It is harder to survive, harder to score points, and potentially these eternal jokers that you take to stabilize in the early game. That's joker slots that you can't use for your deep end game potentially, and very tough needle to thread. I think you did obviously a great job. Every time.
Thank
I
you.
think that C++ experience definitely gets you to that ante 8 and you can survive and know what you need to get by. And then multiplayer, it's just how do I get through this next blind? How much more do I need? And then the perfect combination of skill. It played phenomenally.
Very well done.
And with that, I would like to present both of you. Pardon my shaky handwriting. But we'd like to present you with your names forever engraved on our top banana. This is our grand prize, by the way, for winning the top banana trophy. Right underneath, you can't really see it unless it focuses, but Bean and Feinberg 2025. Congratulations on taking home first place here. I'd ship it to you if I could, but I don't have one, and there's 2 of you, so I don't know how to split this one because this is a banana that you can't split. But congratulations. Thank you so much for being a part of this. And yeah, well, I would love to have y'all back next year. I can't talk. It's been a long couple days.
Chip has a time machine confirmed.
Next season, you mean?
Allegedly.
Twice a year.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Thank you both for competing in this, taking the time out of it, and both of you playing so well. I know, Bean, you were a little discouraged yesterday, but like despite that one mishap, you did play phenomenally. So you should be proud of your contribution to this win as well. And then Feinberg, like, just honestly blown away by how well you played all 3 of these rounds. It was surreal to watch. It was truly a clinic.
Yeah, thank you for hosting this event. It was a good time. I love the format. I think it's a lot of fun. Definitely had to learn some new skills, and I'd be happy to do it again.
So I will say next year we'll probably have a Joker display on. I'm still on the fence about Handy, but I think this is kind of a case to have Joker display on, and we will communicate like the mod situation a little bit further in advance. But absolutely fantastic job, both of you. Well-deserved victory, and I don't know what else to say, but any final words? Where to find you? What you got coming up? Any of that?
I mean, I just play Minecraft. You guys can watch Bean for more Balatro and Balatro.
There's a lot of Minecraft fans.
Balatro's my game that I play off stream because if you switch games, a single game creator, it hurts the mental and the everything.
He knows the struggle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just got to say thanks, Feinberg, for the carry, and I'll be waiting for my next chance to get some redemption.
All right, thank you both so much.
One last question for Bean. Do you have a video title queued up for this one?
Oh, yeah.
I was really hoping to just name it Crushing the Biggest Balatro Event with Feinberg, and I don't think I can name it that, so it's either Most Stressful Balatro Tournament or something along those lines. We'll figure it out.
I swept 2025 Balatro because you're also champion of the MLB, correct?
True.
The
We're
student
taking home
becomes
all
the
the
master.
trophies.
That's the title.
Yeah. Congratulations, both of you. Thank you for stopping by for an interview. I know it's been a long day, so if you got to run, I understand. But we do have a live performance coming up from Don Palombi. But thank you guys so much, and hope to have you back next year.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks guys. It was a blast.
All right, I don't know if Belanos and Bricky are available for a quick chat, but Belanos and Bricky, Belanos did technically go back to back, second place this year and last year. That just means next year he's gunning for that #1 spot. But seeing double here twice on the you're the second best trophy. So claps to Belanos and Bricky on that one. Thank you all so much. And $69 from Luminary, Alex Belgium, $25, Feinberg #1, Stupid with $100. Roffle, thank you for the 500, dog. Holy. $5 from Miski, 200 from Shay, gotta hit that goal, and 10 from Mel. And with that, we've hit our $20,000 goal. That is insane.
We did it. You did it. And now we're like, it's unreal.
Well, Murphy helped.
Right.
I mean,
Chip was here, but Murphy helped too. Yeah.
He's in Italy or somewhere. I don't know where he is.
Yeah.
He just got off. He just traveled. Then he's like, you know what? I'm gonna go overseas. I don't know what his problem is.
You know, he took the whole week off for something.
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know.
Something's figured out. I guess.
Yeah,
but
his flight got delayed or something. He might just be still stuck somewhere and not even home. I don't know.
Bricky just saw in the Discord they got second.
I gotta check this out.
Man. Yeah, come on in.
The bricks are in here.
Ricky.
Bricky!
What the heck? I just sat down. I wasn't I last place yesterday?
I don't think so.
I don't remember, but all that matters is what the team score is, and the team score, at least from here, it's 255. That says Bricky and Belanos up there in the #2 spot. You got your name on. You're the second best trophy, along with Belanos back-to-back years. How you feeling?
What? I curious if I accidentally provided the wrong score. I gotta be honest. I was struggling. I was having a time of it. I particularly remember going for a wraith into a negative ancient joker into an onk for a second ancient joker to then be swindled with no spades with half the deck. I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked.
And then his brain expanded 3 sizes that day.
And was then implanted into Belanos Bear.
Belanos is an absolute shark. I don't know if you're familiar with their content, but they do insane runs like this for fun, where they just start with flush 5 and that's all they can play from the first hand to the last. So I am, and a second place winner in last year's competition as well. Did I think second place in Twitch Rivals on top of that. So you had a fantastic competitor, even though the day might not have gone the way for you. It was an absolute blast to have you. I was watching back some of your VOD, and your emotes on screen were killing me.
I was uncertain if that was perhaps a bit too much, but I decided to put a little bit of it out there, let the get a little flashback.
It got me too, because I looked up, I was like, something's going on up the top left right now. I don't know exactly what it is, but I think someone's playing Among Us a little bit too closely.
Hey, you know what? I was just genuinely stoked. I saw one of our one of the fan bases on, or one of the fans on the YouTube side of the multi-stream gave like $3,500.
That, oh my god, that was them?
Yeah, Pile of Sentient Tentacles, I think. I was
Sentient Tentacles, yeah.
I was sitting
largest
there.
donation of the week.
Was it actually? Oh, I was sitting there so smug about doing nothing, but having that come from my side. It felt so good.
You did the one thing you needed to do.
Right. Yeah, that's what the event is about. So having you participate, definitely helped contribute to this. Even without the second place finish aside, which congratulations again on that.
No, absolutely. I thank you so much for running this entire event. It was actually genuinely a really interesting way to play Balatro, because it was almost like scouting and just getting the knowledge check in the beginning and then rolling it out from there was completely different to how I normally do, which is the last 5 months of trying to get a NANIMF run on like White Stake Plasma, which is, I'm very happy to try something different. It's quite interesting. I never would have expected this game to have that kind of like competitive content style.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
no, I
speaking
mean,
of-
oh no, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, speaking of, mixing it up here, Bear doesn't usually do the long endless stuff. Usually plays the 8 ante runs. Does some interesting, sometimes seeded runs, and chose to play on Gold Stake to mix it up here. I thought that was really cool.
That's actually quite hysterical, because the reason we did that was because I thought it was highest possible score. I got them mixed up. And so I thought we were going for some endless kind of thing. I was like, well, and I said, well, I've been practicing plasma deck all the time, so this is perfect. And the irony paid off, as clearly he swept quite well.
We'll call that another happy little accident.
Absolutely. No, but
Exactly.
genuinely, thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'll crack open an 805 to celebrate second place. Thank you so much.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and would love to have you back in any future ones. And thank you so much for your time and your generosity. And it's been a blast having you, man.
No, genuinely, it's been absolutely lovely. I think I should owe you guys. Well, I owe the charity a bit of cash as well, because I think some of the fans were like, half to you, half to this. So I gotta take account to that. So yeah, no, absolutely.
We
Thanks
appreciate
a million, and hopefully I'd love to come back next year.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, tell all your friends. Maybe we'll get 30, 40 people next year.
Oh no. Oh. Hold on, Murphy's
have
coming
a-
out
oh.
now. I think he's channeling me somehow. He felt a disturbance in the force, and now wait a minute, 30. Okay, we'll do
Pleasure.
30.
Hell yeah. Pleasure, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you around.
Thanks, man.
All right, thank
See
you.
ya.
Yeah, take care, man.
Peace.
All right, y'all. Well, we got a Don Palambi concert coming up. If you guys got a dip, I totally understand. We got our chips, by the way. Our names on all the chips. Murphy's gonna be doing something with these to make some sort of like nice display for all the charity events that we've had recently, but that's just another project on his plate that is unfortunately got put on the back burner. But thank you guys so much for all your generosity and your donations, and you're just being here and sharing it and loving Balatro and loving this community and turning a shitty time in the world into something cool. Even if this is a small beam of light that illuminates a very dark space, no matter how small the light is. So thank you guys so much. You are all tag team Balatro champions in your own right. And I am so blessed for all of you to show up and be here and be a part of this and do something amazing as this. And as long as you guys keep wanting to deal with Murphy's novels that he writes for planning this stuff, I'll keep showing up and hitting the go live button for him, and we'll keep doing cool stuff with the Balatro community for years to come. So thank you guys so much.
We said it yesterday. I'll say it again. Thank you, of course, Chip. When we get a chance, we'll thank Murphy as well. But this is easily the highlight of my year.
Mine
Yeah,
too.
it's it's events like these that really make you appreciate what a great community that we have. Again, viewers, mods, creators, from top to bottom, everyone is fantastic, and we really appreciate everybody that participated in this, whether it was watching, competing, or giving us a helping hand. And once again, just big thank you to Murphy, who really did the lion's share of the work to make this happen. Like I said it earlier, I'll say it again, there would be no event without Murphy, is simply what it comes down to. Hosting this type of events is a lot of effort, and it was a months-long endeavor for Murphy. So big thank you sincerely to Murphy for making this all possible.
I'll pass on the information to him. Thank you guys so much.